Okay, hello?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Now, okay. I said today's topic is about Quran, about the Quran. Okay, and then it will be nice if you stick around. So in case we misunderstand anything, that maybe you could help us understand what is going on over there.
Okay, to the best of my understanding, no problem.
Now, okay. So we have a Muslim right now. At the moment, you're Muslim back on the line. In case we misunderstand anything, he may help us. So what do you say about the Sheikh who was saying Prophet Muhammad never wept, he never cried? What do you say about that to the Sheikh?
Which Sheikh?
Sheikh Muhammad Awal.
Awal Zaitun?
Yeah, Awal Zaitun, yeah.
Okay, when he said cry, I don't know what he means in that. Because I can remember there was a hadith where the Prophet stopped the mankind from crying with opening of voice. Crying when maybe you lost someone, for you to be shouting, crying, opening your voice. The Prophet stopped us from doing that. But then an occasions happened that the Prophet lost his own child, Ibrahim. So now the Sahaba said the Prophet crying, he was shedding tears, but he was not crying as in wow, I lost my son, this and that, shouting. So they said, was it not you who told us not to cry when we befall into something? Then the Prophet said, when the tears are coming out of the eyes is a blessing, is a rahmah, is a mercy. But when he stopped us from crying, it means for us to what? To be shouting. That is what the Prophet said. So I don't know when he said the Prophet never cried, was he referring to the Prophet crying for the death of his son, which in that context, he was explaining to us that when he means crying, when you are sharing of the tears, it is a mercy. And then we have the second type, which is for you to be shouting, kind of telling people, informing everyone about what befalls you. So I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
I get what you are saying. Can you watch? Are you watching me on the screen? So maybe you can watch the video.
I saw your notification, so I know definitely you are going live, but I don't have the data on Facebook. That's why I call you here.
Okay, but the Sheikh was saying, okay, so let me play the video because as I said, I am going to start the video from this moment. So this is going to be the first time the video is coming in the on the screen, okay? So listen to what the Sheikh is saying. He said there is not a single hadith which indicates Prophet Muhammad himself, not the followers, Prophet Muhammad himself is crying. Okay, so let's just listen to what he's saying, okay?
So Muhammad never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying in public. So Muhammad never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying in public.
So the Prophet ﷺ starts to weep.
So Muhammad never cried.
So the Prophet ﷺ starts to weep.
So Muhammad never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying in public.
So the Prophet ﷺ starts to weep. Anta ya Rasulullah, you too, O Messenger of Allah.
So Muhammad never cried.
You cry too? We're not used to seeing you this way. We're not used to seeing the Prophet ﷺ break down. We're not used to seeing the Prophet ﷺ weep in such a fashion. And Rasulullah ﷺ, as he's holding his son, who has now passed away in his hands, and the Prophet ﷺ looks at him and he says, Yabna Auf, O son of Auf, it's rahmah, it's mercy that Allah puts in the heart. Allah put this mercy in my heart. I can't help myself, right? I love this child. And Anas radiallahu anhu said the Prophet ﷺ started to weep more. And we were staring at the Prophet ﷺ, and of course they were crying with him. How would you not if you're sitting?
So Muhammad never cried.
Of course they were crying with him. How would you not if you're sitting?
He's always in seclusion, praying to Allah. He doesn't cry. So Muhammad never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying. Never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying.
Wow.
So Muhammad never cried. There was So Muhammad never cried. There was
Say Yanan Kremofonu Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Yanan Kremofonu Allahu Akbar.
Never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying.
Wow.
So Muhammad never cried. There was
Chairman, any.
So Muhammad never cried. There was
Say Yanan Kremofonu Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Yanan Kremofonu Allahu Akbar.
Okay, it's here for okay, so he couldn't start. Maybe he's watching it and then he will come back. Maybe I will okay. Because what maybe I will okay. We're back. I want to shake, he was not talking about said not the loud. I say Muslim brother no patch say according to hadith be or honor. Me who hadith so what they say now. Prophet Muhammad ordered them not to cry with a loud voice. But they can cry. But said in a shaking, they kind of way same that he was saying, say Prophet Muhammad, he never cried in public. But your hadith one of them he was crying in public. And the fact Sheikh, as me boy Sheikh Muhammad Awano, who Sheikh na make us a fan of Sheikh Muhammad Awal is international. When you're like a local Sheikh, when you will be away like local or be a Ghana baby, Kwan or and that's a small village in Nigeria, baby, daddy, or international. He moved to countries and making lectures or gather people. I think so he's even or one of the countries we maybe say Gambia, Zambia one in a stadium and a lecture. Nipa ba be what I say now into one year common. The can be say there is not a single hadith. Hadith why should I put my trust and my salvation on him and answer in him? And then the question, okay. The topic back on and I say Kevin said we say we won't need be a car at the moment. And see the Bible analyzes the Quran can do what saying okay.
But gentleman, we're fine. Not the same.
Yeah, a drop or he's calling from Nigeria and he was say in so at the moment. It's in the network and very poor at the moment.
Okay.
Bora say he went to leave.
Sheikhs no. Now Sheikhs no back when Muhammad Awal, right?
Yeah, Muhammad Awal. They were black.
And back when they say.
On the Michelle name the I think but honestly on YouTube they were famous on my mom for brain I know his face so one of the Islamic preachers need now also go around okay now preaching and also promote to Islam but me who say they go country to country on YouTube they know sir but Sheikh Awad then they were local or international Sheikh were big okay and I think say be you as Kevin, our joining link, our joining lines is here. You are somebody now. You don't know much about Islam. They kind of say,
like I just have moderate knowledge on Islam.
Okay, and what is your moderate knowledge about Islam? People can join. Me say what join. Okay, then you open dialogue. Near how now man for understanding Islam. And you say, "I'm about to educate you now," but you put questions. Okay, near any open dialogue. It's you.
So far, I mean, him say Islam is more of like a branch of, if I say Abrahamic religion. I think we discussed this before. Like, say we get to say Abraham and then like the prime ancestor of Israel for the Jews. No, religious beliefs. I am about that religion. I'm from Judaism. And January Abraham. And from Abrahamic religion, it be Christianity. And from that same Abrahamic religion, we have Islam. I know so there's been a lot of contention as to the authenticity of that religion amongst Christians and Muslims. I will be claiming a whole lot sort of things. I know that much. And and I know say the central figure I work Christianity, Jesus Christ, who's claimed to be the Son of God. And in other circles too, he's claimed to be both the Son of God and God himself. And then in Islam, also, their central figure is Prophet Muhammad, who is said to be human. He lived sometime, let's say between 500, 600 years after the events of Jesus Christ happened. And it was around the same time that I think Islam as a religion was birthed. And and that's what it's been since then till now. It's grown into one of the main to be one of the major religions in the world. It has quite a large following. Yeah, probably on par with certain religions like Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, and Christianity as well. So that much is what I know.
Okay. And all that what you know, no? Did you learn it from their books? And I say, is it something that somebody told you, or not? Say you heard of it? Have you seen it? The references, the reason why they say Islam is Abrahamic religion. No? Does the Quran say it like this, or Muhammad is from the side of Ishmael? No, a name I already say from books, and I say you catch them.
From varying sources, both primary sources, secondary sources, anecdotal experiences, as in like myself personally having interacted with people on a personal level, like friends and loved ones, like my neighbors in the community and stuff, and then also from what I've read extensively from an academic standpoint in terms of history, and and all in all, just as you know, as I'm growing up and interacting with my environment, some way, somehow, I stumble upon, I randomly stumble upon information, pertaining to Islam. So these are some of the factors and elements that contributed to my gaining knowledge or knowing something about Islam.
So the question I'm going say, for the Muslim to say Islamic is from the branch of Ishmael, no? That statement, a statement that we already from a book will be man also will be like catcher or statement we say with no reference.
No. I heard it. How should I put it? I got it from a subjective standpoint in terms of what I've heard from Muslims over the years. Muslims of all sorts, like from all caliber. Like how should I put it? Like some who are supposed to be Islamic scholars and some who are supposed to be just regular Muslims.
Okay.
So that's but
you small we swear to be as a two betting Matthias and one ready. The catcher of Anna Walker.
But what did I say? I didn't say anything so complicated, did I?
Yeah, but since Anna Walker all together, what I say, a man for the catcher, or more repeat almost the whole time. Say, yeah, Islamic free Ishmael. I say, and I also idea to man. I say, yeah, what okay, fine. I'm a Muslim snake.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not something I've accepted as fact, but I'm saying that is what I know about their religion so far. Yeah.
Okay, because there's an Muslims they say it, so what is but they never provide any evidence. And as a reference, a Quran, a connecting Muhammad to Ishmael. Bibi said any Quran anymore. Till now, what I have understand and say Quran can't say be Muhammad or Ishmael as in the Quran doesn't even speak about the origins of places. And I say, I Bible, American Bible once.
I think someone is. He said to someone. I think someone is asking something in the comment section. Someone wants to know if I'm in the restroom.
Bora. Abdul Rahman, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, you keep on dropping
my voice down because I'm indoors today.
Okay, so the question here is
yes.
The question is the brother on the line was saying he has a little knowledge about Islam, but what he knows about Islam, one of the things is they say it's an Islamic Abrahamic religion, and that the Muslims or Islam comes from the branch of Ishmael. Prophet Muhammad is from the side of Ishmael. Is that true? Have you heard of such a claim before?
Yes, I've heard of that.
Is it a claim that is confirmed in the Quran?
That the prophet came from Ismail?
Yeah. Yes.
Since the Quran did not mention the genealogy of the prophet, but indeed the Quran explained to us that from Ishmaelites, Allah said He has chosen Ishmael, and then He will send a prophet. And the prayer of Abraham, according to what the Quran shows to us, he prayed that may Allah make his own descendant to be Muslims, and Allah should raise a prophet from his descendant. And we believe that prayer was answered, and Prophet Muhammad was that prophet. So he made a prayer according to what the Quran reported,
okay,
and that prayer was answered the prophet is the one sent as a fulfillment of that prayer.
So are you saying
So-
that is what you think, or that is your suggestion, or that is what you are like? That is what you think, but that's not what the Quran says. That Prophet Muhammad is the answer to the prayer of Abraham. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Okay, so Allah Himself never said
Abraham made the prayer. Yes. What do you say?
Okay, Abraham made a prayer in the Quran,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
At his time, that Allah should
Yes.
do what? That he made a prayer to Allah that Allah should bless his seed.
Yes, to be Muslims, and he should send among them a prophet who will guide them and recite the truth unto them.
So, and that is a statement that we can find in the Quran, or also in
Yes.
in the previous books that came before the Quran.
Yes, we can see that the Bible shows to us God said he answered the prayer of Abraham or something of that. But the prayer, we can't find the prayer clearly in the Bible. But with all reference from the Bible, we can prove that Abraham made a prayer and God made a covenant with the children of Ishmael.
Okay, let's leave it like that. So according to him, according to the Muslim on the screen, Allah himself never said anything that Prophet Muhammad is from the line of Ishmael. But they think because Abraham prayed that Ishmael, a prophet should come from the line of Ishmael, and they are think that is Prophet Muhammad, according to him. Okay, so let's leave it like that. That's what he's saying, but the Quran does not confirm this, so let's leave it like this. Okay. So today, let me begin like this. Okay, today I want to start like by giving this verse from the Quran chapter 4, verse number 82. Kevin and everyone listening to the program will be a OT program. Okay, this is not an attack. This is not an attack on the Quran. Nobody is here to attack the Quran.
But what about that contradiction that was made between Muhammad Awal and Diana Sheikh?
Yes, that is a.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about it, but because when I asked him before, no, the phone dropped. So I played the audio and then he was gone. I don't think he heard it, so I have to play it again, and that is the time going.
Oh, but I would have really liked to hear his input, like what he has to say to that. Because for me, as it appears, it appears to be an obvious contradiction. But it seems to me that even from his first answer, it seemed a bit elusive, his answer that he gave. So I just want to be sure that if he knows what's going on.
Okay, Abdul Rahman, did you hear the audio that I played before?
Yes, I heard he said there is no single hadith where it's mentioned that Muhammad cried or something of that, but you can play it again so that we can hear it very clear what he says.
No, that is exactly what he said. But do you think that was an accurate statement from him?
Yes, that will be explained by him, because as I said to you, when we have these two words, we have Nehaya, which is lamenting. Lamenting is like shouting, "Oh, I lost this and that," shouting in public.
Tell this man to hold on. Tell him to hold on.
Which is only sharing of theirs. So when he says that,
hold on.
Putting any hadith, I don't know what he means.
Abdul Rahman, hold on small. Okay?
Tell him to hold on. I want to ask him something. So he can help all of us. Can you hear me? Abdul Rahman, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Yes, listen, this is it. There's been two statements, okay, made by two separate people, okay? One is saying that Muhammad never cried. It's as simple as that. This is simple English. And I'm sure you understand that the meaning of words matter. Language and the meaning of words matter, right? Would you agree with me?
Maybe C2 should be mentioning what he said, because I can't hear him clearly.
He said the two sheikhs have made a statement, okay, and they both contradict each other or something like this. One,
Kevin, no, see. Abdul Rahman, because on an baby, and you know it. Abdul Rahman, listen, there are two sheikhs. One is saying that Muhammad never cried, and he even went on to use other words and everything to qualify and describe and for us to have a sense of what he's trying to say. He said that Muhammad never cried in public. When we say someone didn't cry in public, do you understand it?
Abdul Rahman, did you hear what he said? You see the point here? He's still on the line anyway.
Or you are thinking about it?
Hello?
Abdul Rahman, he just asked you a question. Did you hear the question?
No, I said you should repeat the question because I am not hearing him clearly.
He said, if somebody
are you hearing me now?
C2, repeat the question. Whatever he said, repeat it to me.
He said, if somebody says Prophet Muhammad did not cry in public, do you understand what that means?
Yes, that is why I said it's based on what he gave to us as an explanation of what he means. Because if he is speaking about the hadith, which are two things, then he must explain. Did he mean lamenting or sharing of tears? Which both can be represented as crying, but in Arabic is something different. So when he says to me, Muhammad cried or he never cried, then I think he is the best person to give us the explanation. What did he mean? Did he mean an-nihaya, which is what, lamentation or mourning? Or did he mean only buka, which is sharing of tears? So that will be explained by whosoever mentioned that to me. So I will ask him for the explanation. But in English, we represent it all as cry based on how we understand it. So for that person who may have mentioned this, then he is in the best situation to give us the clarification of what he means.
Okay.
So last question. So Abdul Rahman, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yes. So in the video, these two sheikhs, one is saying that Muhammad never cried. He used the word cried multiple times in the same submission that he was making. He didn't qualify it or describe it or give a different or use a different word for crying. He used crying multiple times, knowing very well what crying means. But I understand what you're saying, no problem. So one said Muhammad never cried, and he said that multiple times. He said he never cried in public. And then another sheikh said Muhammad cried in public, and he said it multiple times. So are you saying that these two are telling the truth?
Situ, repeat what he says.
He said, one of the sheikhs said Muhammad never cried in public. And the other sheikh said Muhammad cried, he wept, and even all the people around him was weeping with him. So are you saying both these sheikhs are telling the truth? Is that what you are saying?
That is what I explained, that since none of them quote a single hadith. None of them quote a single hadith. Now, if they quote hadith, then we can understand what is the Arabic word they are trying to explain in English. But in English, it takes many things. So when they said cry, it can be they are referring to the word buka or neha, which is lamentation and crying only by sharing the tear. So when they said that, I think I can't say anything on that because none of them quote the hadith. If example, Sheikh Awal quote that this is the hadith I'm explaining, then we can go back to that, see what was the hadith saying. Does the hadith use the word buka or neha, which is lamentation or crying by opening your voice in public? So that is why I said it's based on what they are trying to give in the English word.
Okay, according to
none of them quote any hadith.
Then Sheikh Muhammad Awal said there is not a single hadith that says Prophet Muhammad cried. You see, it doesn't matter what you are trying to tell us is there are two forms of crying, lamentation,
yes, definitely,
and that there is weeping or just shedding tears. Okay, but yes, according to Sheikh Muhammad Awal, he made a clear statement saying there is not a single hadith that says Prophet Muhammad cried. What do you say about this?
You see, this is anonymous word. Example, if I said Rabb, which is Lord, yes, it can be Lord meaning God of the world, the Almighty God. And the word Lord, even in Arabic, we have Rabbud Dar, which means the master of the house or the Lord of the house. So now if I said I saw the Lord and I kept quiet, this is what anonymous word. people can interpret it any way they think. So someone may think it, okay, I said Lord, I mean the Almighty God. Somebody may say, okay, I said Lord, I said Rob, it means the Lord of the house. So you see, if the person who mentioned the statement did not give the explanatory part of what he mean in the language he is trying to communicate, then that cannot be explained, because this is a anonymous word.
So so what the Sheikh was saying to the audience,
the hadith, then that is when we can solve that problem.
No, okay, no, the Sheikh, Abdul Rahman, the Sheikh, he said there is not a single hadith, so he cannot quote any hadith. If he is saying there is not a single hadith that says Prophet Muhammad cried, so you are trying to tell us at that moment when the Sheikh is what the Sheikh was saying in that lecture, it was meaningless, it was useless. The people cannot depend on that. Because the Sheikh did not.
That is why I said he is in the best position to give the explanation for that, because it may means, just as I told you, it is an anonymous word. So it might have, maybe he may mean that Muhammad never laments or never shouts in the public. It may take that. So but since he did not give the explanation for that, then we don't know what he means.
Abdul Rahman, how come you are not a Sheikh? You are just a student, but you can make it clear, and he is the Sheikh. And he is not making it clear for the people, and he has more audience than you. His voice reaches far more than you.
As somebody giving lecture, we all know the nature of lecturing. So you might not be able to say everything, but now, and that is why we have this kind of platform. That is why we have this kind of platform, that whenever you said something, you come for clarification, come and explain what you mean.
Abdul Rahman, can you give me this hadith where it says...
in a situation...
No, Abdul Rahman, can you please give me the hadith where it's the verse about don't cry by shouting? Okay, can you find the hadith for us, because we want to check it out?
Okay.
Okay.
I think let us go to Kitabul Janaiz. Let me check the hadith number.
Yeah, please.
We have this Let's check hadith 1284.
Hadith 1284. What is that? It doesn't say anything. From which book?
Bukhari, hadith number 1284.
1284. Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari. Okay. Okay, can you read it for us, because I'll try and find it, okay?
He said, the daughter of the prophet, peace be upon her, sent a messenger to the prophet, requesting him to come as her child was dying. But the prophet returned the messenger, and told him to convey his greeting to her and say whatever Allah takes is for him, and whatever he gives is for him. And everything with him has a limited fixed time. And so she should be patient and hope for Allah's reward. She again sent for him, swearing that he should come. The prophet got up, and so did Sa'ad bin Ubadah, Mu'adh bin Jabal, Ubay bin Ka'b, Zayd bin Thabit, and some other men reported. The child was brought, so Allah's messenger, while his breath was disturbed in his chest. The sub-narrator think that Usama added, as if it was a leather water skin. On that, the eyes of the prophet, peace be upon him, start shedding tears. This is the point. The eyes of the prophet start shedding what? Tears. Sa'ad said to the prophet, "Oh Allah's messenger, what is this?" He replied, "It is a mercy which Allah has lodged in the hearts of his slaves. And Allah is merciful only to those of his slaves who are merciful to others." So the Arabic word here used is buka, which shows that the prophet is only sharing what? Tears, not shouting, lamenting. Then Sa'ad asked him, "Oh, the prophet, what is this?" He said, "This is a mercy which God bestowed in the hearts of the believers."
Okay, so where is the prophet telling the people not to be shouting or lamenting? Where is that?
So, I'm coming. This is the fourth hadith. Let us go to the second one.
Okay, please.
Can I ask him something?
Yeah, you can ask.
I'm coming. Let's check 1292. Let me also check the English one, 1292.
Bukhari 1292.
1292, 1294.
Okay, yeah.
Let me also get it. 1294.
So
I'll be
I
there
wanted to
now.
ask him that. So for all that is described so far, to the point where he started shedding tears, can that not be described as
He
crying?
said, the prophet said, the deceased is tortured in his grave for the wailing done over him. Narrated Shu'bah, the deceased is tortured for the wailing of the living ones over him. Which, what is wailing here is shouting, lamenting.
Wait, Abdurrahman, what verse did you say? You said 1292, 94?
1292.
92, okay, sorry. Wait, hold on. Okay.
So when Imam al-Bukhari made the book, he said, Babu ma yukrahu min al-nihayati ala al-mayyit. He said the book that stopped or this, I don't know how to even interpret it in English.
Wait, can you please, Abdurrahman, can you please read it for us again one more time, please, and explain it?
He said the prophet said the deceased is tortured in his grave for the wailing done over him.
Mm-hmm.
So here we can see that what the prophet is prohibiting is wailing
or lamenting. Where is the prohibiting? Where is the prohibition here?
No, does he have to mention that he said the deceased are being tortured, meaning they are being punished in the grave because of what? The lamentation, the wailing of the words of their family upon them.
Okay, so where is
for those that know what they are doing, they stop that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It says the chapter topic is what sort of wailing over a disease is disliked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what sort of it is disliked and what is not disliked?
The first one I brought to you is the one that is like for you to only shed the tears without crying, without shouting. But this is the one disliked.
Yeah, but this verse is Prophet Muhammad. It's not about.
How can you shed tears without crying?
Listen carefully. You are conflating things here. This is what Prophet Muhammad is telling the people not to do, but not about himself. So we are speaking about Prophet Muhammad himself, not what he ordered. And then he himself, did he cry or did he not cry? Did he weep or did he not weep? That is the question here.
Sharing of tears, we saw him doing that.
Yes,
but crying, lamenting, we never saw him doing that.
Okay, but that's not what we are saying. We are saying here, because the Sheikh is saying Prophet Muhammad never cried. There's not a single hadith.
Yes, that is why I said if we take it just the way I explained to you, yes, shedding of tears, we saw the Prophet doing that in the hadith.
So how come Sheikh Muhammad Awwal never told us that?
Wait, that is not. Then that is what I explained to you, that it might have been, or it may be, that what Muhammad Awwal means, that the Prophet never cried out loud in the public. I said it may means that is what it means. And if that is not what he means, then he must give us explanation of what he means. But to me, this is what I'm telling you, that if the Prophet is shedding of tears, which in Arabic is not shouting or lamenting or wailing in the public. Yes, we saw the Prophet doing that. But crying in the context of wailing, shouting in the public, no single hadith where the Prophet do that. I see not a single. I don't know if there is. So I see not a single. So that is my position on that.
No, okay. Kevin, so that is his position. Okay, because I don't think we can. Do you have any question for him?
Yeah, I just want to ask him that how, under what condition is it that when a person is moved to tears over something that is obviously out of maybe sadness or something that he is lamenting, to the point where he is shedding tears, how can that not be described as crying? Do you understand?
Yes. Give the question to me.
He said, if somebody is sad or is shedding tears, how can that not be described as crying?
If somebody is shedding
tears,
yes,
how can that not be described as crying? Because
yes, you see, that is why it is different of languages. This is Arabic. This is English. Even in Hausa, in my own language, a word might have different meaning, because you see, we have languages that you cannot give the definite meaning of that word. Like example, when we said ihsan in Arabic, kind, we only translate it as kind in English because we have no word to give to that. But it is above what we think as kind. So when we speak about whether cry or lamentation, these are two words in Arabic, which in the Arabic, it is having differences. When we said buka, that is for you to only shed the tears without shouting. I can sit down and maybe I have a problem with me. I'm sad, I might be shedding the tears, but that doesn't mean I'm shouting. But if somebody saw me, yes, he saw me crying. But in Arabic, you can't use the word buka for niha because these are they have different meaning. If you use the word niyah or niha in Arabic, it will only mean that I saw the man shedding tears. I saw him shedding tears. So I cannot say in Arabic, I saw him doing buka because buka is shouting, lamenting, wailing.
Seto, what I want this guy to understand is this. Awal is not a kid. He is a learned person, and he knows the differences between words, and he knows the nuances between them. If he was being specific, if he actually meant something else other than crying, and he was meaning something specific like the way he, Abdul Rahman, is saying, then he would have made it clear, but he didn't. He said crying. And me and you and everybody knows that when you shed tears out of a negative emotion, a negative emotion, it is crying. And unless maybe it is tears of joy. But if it is tears from like lamentation or maybe like a negative, like sadness, then it is crying. I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean.
Okay, I want to play the sound one more time, okay? And then we move on. We move on to the next topic.
But you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
No, honestly, in my opinion, I believe Abdul Rahman is not being sincere. That's the whole thing. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to consider the possibility that perhaps maybe Abdul Rahman and maybe Awal just wasn't being truthful or mistake. He's not considering that. He wants to try to force it, but Awal should know the difference between crying and lamenting.
I want to listen to the thing one more time, okay? Please, one more time. Last one, and then we move on to the topic because 1 hour is already gone.
So Muhammad never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying in public. So Muhammad never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying in public.
So the Prophet ﷺ starts to weep.
So Muhammad never cried.
So the Prophet ﷺ starts to weep.
So Muhammad never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying in public.
So the Prophet ﷺ starts to weep. Anta ya Rasulullah, you too, O Messenger of Allah.
So Muhammad never cried.
You cry too? We're not used to seeing you this way. We're not used to seeing the Prophet ﷺ break down. We're not used to seeing the Prophet ﷺ weep in such a fashion. And Rasulullah ﷺ, as he's holding his son, who has now passed away in his hands, and the Prophet ﷺ looks at him and he says, Yabna Auf, O son of Auf, it's rahmah, it's mercy that Allah puts in the heart. Allah put this mercy in my heart. I can't help myself, right? I love this child. And Anas radiallahu anhu said the Prophet ﷺ started to weep more. And we were staring at the Prophet ﷺ, and of course they were crying with him. How would you not if you're sitting?
So Muhammad never cried.
Of course they were crying with him. How would you not if you're sitting?
He's always in seclusion, praying to Allah. He doesn't cry. So Muhammad never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying. Never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying.
Wow.
So Muhammad never cried. There was. So Muhammad never cried. There was.
Say yanan kremofonu ko Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Yanan kremofonu ko Allahu Akbar.
Never cried. There was not a single hadith or any narration that Muhammad was crying.
Wow.
So Muhammad never cried. There was.
Okay, I think we get a point here. Okay, so you see, the other sheikh was saying it was mercy. He was saying like the hadith when Muhammad was crying, he was shedding tears, and the people said, "We have never seen you like this," and he said it was mercy. So it has nothing to do with what Abdul Rahman was saying, like because he was shedding tears because of the teardrop. That is why it is mercy. He was sad, but I don't want to be holding. I don't.
Yeah.
on to this.
If you are sincere, my answer is enough, because I said we need each of their clarification. I told you my stand, and I gave you the hadith, and I will end up with this hadith number 1304. Check it in Sahih Bukhari. Let's check the hadith.
Okay, 1304.
304.
Okay,
It said Sa'ad bin Ubadah became sick, and the Prophet, along with Abdurrahman bin Auf, Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, and Abdullah bin Mas'ud, visited him to inquire about his health. When he came to him, he found him surrounded by his household, and he asked, "Has he died?" They said, "No, O Allah's apostle." The Prophet wept. When the people saw the weeping of Allah's messenger, listen, they all wept. He said, "Will you listen? Allah does not punish." He said to them, "Listen, Allah does not punish for shedding of tears." Can you see? For shedding of tears, not for the grief of the heart. Just because I'm feeling grief in my heart, Allah doesn't punish me for that. But he punished or bestowed his mercy because of this. He pointed to the tongue and added, the disease is punished for the wailing of his relative over him. So the Prophet did what? He pointed to the tongue, that this is what draw the punishment. If I'm shouting, what did I use for shouting? I use my tongue. But he said Allah doesn't punish for the grief of the heart or shedding of the tears. But what did Allah punish by? He pointed to the tongue. Shouting. That denotes what? Shouting. So I think this is very simple.
Okay, listen carefully. Okay,
so I told you my stand on this. That is what I told you, my stand on this. If it is shedding, this is at least two different hadith I give, where the Prophet shed tears. But in Arabic, you can't use these two words together. That is what I'm saying. So for the Sheikh Muhammad Awal, who said that, he is in the best position to come and defend it, to tell us what he and I will think good about him. So when he said this, he mean I think good about him. So when he said this, he mean the Prophet never shouts in public, lamenting, wailing. But indeed, if it is about shedding of tears, the Prophet did that. But we can use that word, this anonymous word, for both. In English, cry.
Abdurrahman. What?
Yes.
So he pointed to his tongue and added, the disease is punished for the wailing of his relatives over him. Can you explain why is the disease punished for what some people are doing? What is that? What does that mean?
I can explain that. That is in the Mashiach of Allah. I can explain that.
What does that mean?
Allah knows why he did that. I can't explain why the disease will be punished for the what? Okay. For the crying of his ahl upon him. I don't know that.
Okay, that will bring me to the. Do you get this? Kevin or okay. So this will bring me to the topic. Did you hear the point here? The point here is he has given these verses trying to say Sheikh Muhammad Awal maybe meant Prophet Muhammad did not cry loudly. Okay, he did not cry loudly, but he wept. But what I understand from Sheikh Muhammad Awal, there is not a single hadith that says Prophet Muhammad cried or something like this. But let's put it aside. Let's go to the Quran. According to this verse here, according to this statement, which Abdul Rahman believes or accepts, that the one who is dead, he will be punished for if somebody laments over him or cry or wail over him. That person who is dead is going to be punished. According to the Quran, which is Quran chapter 35. Okay, so let me put it on the screen. And let's jump into the Quran. Quran chapter 35, verse number 18. Can you, Abdul Rahman, can you open your side and so that people may
Quran 35 as what?
35:18. Fatal.
35:18.
Yes.
ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى. I'm coming. 18.
Yes, please.
It said, وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةُ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى, and no bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another.
Okay, that is actually it is a long verse, but I only want this first part of the verse. It says no bearer.
Yes, and I know that. Yes.
So according to this verse, nobody carries the sin or the burden of another, right?
Yes.
So how is this verse not contradicting the hadith?
Yes, that is why I said I cannot explain that, because I don't know how or why will Allah punish the deceased for the crime. Was it because as he is maybe the head of the house, he refused to tell them about the message of the prophet or Allah, that they are not allowed to do that? Was it because he refused doing that, or they disobey? I don't know. I can't explain that.
Okay, you don't have to explain what you cannot, okay? But when we use
I don't understand that. I don't understand it.
Okay,
I can't explain that.
According to the Quran itself, right now we are looking at the Quran. And my understanding from you Muslims is that any hadith that contradicts the Quran, the hadith is to be thrown away.
Yes.
Is that your standpoint too?
Yes, that is my point. That is also my standing. Okay. And that is why I said, since I'm not a hadith, I'm not somebody who have any kind of literal, I would say literature knowledge on hadith, so I can't explain that I'm not muhaddith.
But you are using the hadith. You are using the hadith as something, as an evidence for your case.
Yes, as a student, based on my understanding, okay, that is what I use.
And that is what
for this explanation, I said this is my stand. I can't explain that.
Okay. So now we have a hadith which the dead person is going to be punished, is going to carry the burden of if some people maybe disobey Prophet Muhammad and start wailing or shouting or crying or grieving very hardly upon the dead. That person is going to carry that burden because Prophet Muhammad has guided them, right? He has given them the guidance. Don't do this. Because if you do this, the one dead is going to receive the burden. So how come you are taking this hadith, even though it contradicts what the Quran says?
So that is why I told you it is based on what I know now. That is what I give to you. So for that to explain that part, I can't do that. Just as I know I have been asking you this for many times, that we know even in your book, it said no one can take the sin of anybody. The one who made the sin died for his sin. But yet we can see some people taking the sin of others. So if I ask you to explain for that, you can also explain that. So does that mean the God of the Old Testament is contradicting the God of the New Testament? No.
Okay, I don't know why you are bringing the Bible in this one here. Answer this question. Okay, and let me ask the people on the screen too. Okay, let me ask the people on the screen. Kevin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Do you see the contradiction here, or there is no contradiction according to you?
No bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another. Yeah. Yes, okay. So that's what it's saying. And where do you think it contradicts?
And then this verse is saying, and the hadith that he gave us is saying, the dead, the deceased, he will be punished if the people alive wail upon them, upon the dead. So the dead person is going to carry the burden. So if people maybe disobey Prophet Muhammad and cry loudly, according to him, and start shouting and crying, the deceased is the one going to receive the punishment for them doing that.
Yeah, well, there's two problems with this. Besides the fact that it's contradictory, it just doesn't even seem like it is just from a just God. It doesn't make sense that someone should be punished just when the person is already dead over something that he doesn't even know anything about.
Okay, so according to you, that is what you also said, okay? According to the Muslims, they tell us that whenever a hadith contradicts the Quran, the hadith is to be thrown away. But at the moment, Abdul Rahman is not ready to say the hadith is not authentic, but he still accepts the hadith, okay? Greetings.
Greetings, Sato.
Long time.
Yeah. But I was here last week though, right?
Yeah, last week. I said, say 1 week.
Yeah. Greetings, Kevin.
Yeah, ciao.
Yeah, but you know, these Muslims, man. For me, that's why I keep on saying, man. I don't know why Christians worrying themselves trying to disprove the Quran, because they cannot win anything without that's what I was saying last week. Without the Bible, man, they cannot convince anyone to become a Muslim.
Conform. Today we are trying to learn the Quran. Just focus on the Quran alone. No Bible, nothing. No only Quran. Quran. Okay, so what we are talking about, and say if you are at the moment, if you don't have any question about what we are talking about, I want to move on. Okay,
Yeah.
Abdurrahman, are you still there?
You see, I have a friend.
Are you there? Oh, what drop. Okay, Kasamiti.
I have a friend, a Muslim friend, and then we were debating about the Quran, and I said, God, the God Himself cannot protect His own Quran. He said, what do you mean? I said, but the goat eat the Quran. He said, no, that is impossible. It can never happen. Then through you said, so I gave him that the hadith, and then he told me he's gonna go ask the sheikh, so he will get back to me. Up to now, maybe now he doesn't even pick up my call anymore.
Of course not. Of course. That is but Abdurrahman is gone. Okay, so you see now, according to this Quranic verse right here, no bearer of burden will bear the burden of another. That means obi so obi born. That's what he's trying to say. The verse is saying here. Okay, it's a long verse, but it doesn't change the facts. And he said, this point is what I need. In the same Quran, okay, let's read another verse from the Quran. Quran chapter 16, verse number 25. Okay. And this is what I'm saying, you know. I want your opinion. It doesn't mean that the way now, maybe how I see things, you know, doesn't mean that you have to see it the same way. Maybe you can read it better and understand it in a different way than I do. So because I have an understanding, or maybe let's say I have a preconceived mind, it doesn't mean that if you are watching me, you also have to have the same thing. You also can say no, this is not what I understand. This is not how I understand it, okay? This is how I understand. Now, what church I'm saying. And then I say, it's not like we come here to gang up together and tarnish or bash Quran or something. That's not what we want. We want a clear understanding from each person. So there will be a tears here. You have Quran chapter 16, verse number 25. This is what the Quran says. That they may bear their own burdens in full on the day of resurrection, and some of the burdens of those whom they misguided without knowledge. Unquestionably, evil is that which they bear. So when we read this verse now, according to what I read just right now, no, on the day of resurrection, no, some of the burdens of those whom they misguided without knowledge, they are going to bear that burdens too. Tell what you're saying. They may bear their own burdens in full on the day of resurrection, and some of the burden of those whom they misguided without knowledge. And the verse where to say on the day of resurrection, you will carry them on your own full. Now, who misguided obi ema obi ko ayira kwano so na, you are going to carry some of his burden. It's the first verse we say, if you pick this verse according to what the verse says, then you compare according to Quran 35, verse number 18. I heard the all countries say, no bearer of burden will bear the burden of another. And then this is why I wanted the guy to stay on. Said the bank of was saying, but he's gone. Maybe he will join us later on, okay? But from our own understanding, how do you understand this or comfort Siedu and Kevin?
Yeah, a contradiction right there.
Quoted from the same book.
What was it saying?
Are they both quoted from the same book? They are both from the Quran?
Both from the Quran, yes. Where except no quote to my and hadith, okay, that one they can deny it. Say but this one is from the Quran. Quran chapter 16, verse number 25. And then if you are watching now, once again, I'm not giving my understanding. I say your kind is your kind, okay? So who understand it there, you can give it to us. Say you can write the verses down, these two verses, bring it to your sheikh, let him give you an understanding, and you can bring it to us. And then we will also have an understanding. Maybe the mechanic who say a contradiction, because one of the kind of clear in my house is say obedient to me then and carry will be burden. And another one is you can carry some of the burden of another. Kevin Sana also because I think so you read better than I do.
It appears contradictory to me. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
Okay,
what I want to know. So also who say the same thing now? Mami why because To me, they are clear. And once again, said the Abdul Rahman. Otima's explanation now say hadith and saying you will be shocked, say ABI explanation for this one too. So sometimes ABI it look clear for us to us and then it look clear say a contradiction, but to the Muslims, they can say there is no contradiction. Quran chapter 29, it's had another back on Quran chapter 29, verse number 13. Okay, let's see what the Quran says. And we say you can write it down. Short verses. Verse number 13, you heard the account the same thing to say, will be carry, will be burden. Okay, but they will surely carry their burdens and other burdens along with their burden. Tell what you're saying. And they will carry their own burden, and the burden of others too. So and they will surely be questioned on the day of resurrection about what they used to invent. And in this verse, we says a kind verse number 12 now. And those who disbelieve say, those who disbelieve, Prophet Muhammad, and Allah, and then say to those who believe, follow our way, and we will carry your sins. According to the statement. But they will not carry anything of their sins. Indeed, they are liars. So what you're saying now? Verse number 12, and to verse number 12, and verse number 13 in the Quran. Verse 12.
Or say, and those who disbelieve say to those who believe, follow our way, and we will carry your sins. But they will not carry anything of their sins. Indeed, they are liars.
And verse 13, but they will surely carry their own burdens and other burdens along with their burdens. So what you say now?
Yeah.
And they will surely be questioned on the day of resurrection about what they used to invent. And the Quran verse now, verse 35, verse number 18, accounts say, no bearer of burdens will bear the burdens of another. So no bearer of burdens will bear the burdens of another. And they kind of clear. And yeah, Bible verses 2 or now, it indicates to me understand and say, you will carry your own burdens definitely, but you also carry some of the burdens of another. And that means a bearer of burdens, you will carry somebody's burdens too. Someone said was saying, how do we contemplate on such verses in the Quran?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so my own 2 cents there right now, you're on the same page as to how I didn't know you say like it doesn't make sense. And I say so that's what we can do for now until say Obi as an apologist say or be defending your position. And that one to know say if you recall, I've made this point several times before. Say once you put yourself in a position once you put yourself in a like in a critical position, say being a critic or I'll criticize, it's quite easy to just be able to really analyze the whole situation from an objective standpoint. It's right now we are doing that, but the apologist being an apologist would find a way, just like you said yourself, would definitely find a way to make it sort of make sense from his perspective, regardless of how contentious or ridiculous the thing may be. So for me, like to be honest, like it was expected for me. Like
but sometimes, sometimes, yeah, to me that I like to hear the kind of excuse that will be the man. And people want before Nana Trump, no, president, US, now me share news, now me share YouTube or news, because time will be so I want to see the kind of the people that they come out to defend him, how are they going to defend Trump? What? Yeah. Because I look at clear, say no but let me see one man. Let me say, hey, this is how you can also see things from a different perspective. Different. And sometimes say apologetics. So we can be one. I want to hear what they have to say about this verse. How can they turn this verse to make me to convince me in a way, and I said to make me nod my head. Okay, see, people are in here, man. But every another verse.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I mean, that is what. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Because even me too is the same way. Like sometimes when I am sort of like dialoguing with people of other religious faiths like Christianity and whatnot, now it's the same angle I come from. You know, I'm driven by just the curiosity derived from the desire to see from what angle are you going to come from. You know, from how are you going to defend your position? It's just that curiosity that drives me.
I hope, say, Abdurrahman, if you are watching, please join us, okay? We need answers to this, and also we need understanding. Let's say it like that, okay? According to this hadith, which is Sahih Muslim 2767D, it says the Abu Buddha reported Allah's messenger saying, which is Prophet Muhammad is saying what he's saying, okay? There would come people among the Muslims on the day of resurrection with heavy sins as a mountain. Did you hear that? They are Muslims, but their sins are heavy as a mountain. And Allah would forgive them. And he would place in their stead the Jews and the Christians. So according to this hadith, which Prophet Muhammad is saying, Allah is going to forgive the Muslims their sins, which is heavy as a mountain. But he's not just going to forgive them like that. He needs somebody. He needs like a sacrificial lamb or something. Okay, somebody to take over their sins, and he's going to put it on the Christians and the Jews. But the Quran says this is Muhammad saying. Listen carefully. This is Muhammad, Allah's messenger said, is saying this, and this is it is from their own source. Okay, they are saying it is authentic, Sahih Muslim. But the Quran
is it a hadith?
This is the hadith, yes.
Mm.
And this is not, you see, the hadith, they themselves, they have graded the hadith authentic and not authentic. So they themselves, they accept in their religion, they have fabrications in their books. They have some books which are not dependable. We cannot depend on them. And they accept it. That is the true religion. That in their own books, you can bring in the book, say, oh, no, we don't accept this one. This is fabrication.
Wait, question. And they accept that the hadith is not divinely inspired.
Yeah, they accept the hadith is not. You see, according to the Quran says Prophet Muhammad does not speak on his own inclination. You see, so there are things Prophet Muhammad is saying, which is like he will not be able to know if it was not Allah who gave him this information. So like this one is about the day of resurrection. How would Prophet Muhammad know if it's not Allah who gave him this? They don't consider this to be an divine like the Quran, but still it is Prophet Muhammad saying this. And it's about the future. And Prophet Muhammad does not know the future. It is Allah who will tell him what to say. So if Prophet Muhammad is saying this about the future, that means Allah gave it to him. You get a point?
Interesting.
And he's saying Allah will forgive the Muslim, and he will place in this, instead of the Muslim, the Jew and the Christians. So the Jew and the Christians are going to be the sacrificial lamb for the Muslims. And even though his sin is like heavy as a mountain. And the Quran is saying nobody carries the burden of another. Is this not a contradiction according to what we have read? Like literally, when we read it literally, we have no understanding. Is it not a contradiction? That is what I would say. I see it as one, but as I said, what I say, it doesn't hold water. Okay, just my opinion. Look at this verse here, Quran chapter 4, verse number 82, what it says. You see, the criteria here is in the Quran. The criterion is in the Quran. Kevin, can you read this one for us?
82?
Yes.
82? Okay.
Yes, 82.
Then do they not reflect upon the Quran? If it had been from any other than Allah, they would have found within it much contradiction.
So this is a criterion. Allah has given us a way to find, if the book is not from him, you will find within it much contradiction. You get a point here.
I get it.
So the Quran itself has given us the criterion to check upon the Quran. And if you find contradictions in the Quran, that will be the indication the book is not from God. So as a layman like me, somebody like, I don't have much knowledge, but if I read the Quran just like literally like this, and I find these contradictions, so when I say I don't believe the Quran is from Allah, I have my reasons. Now you get a point why I have the reason why to say that it's not from Allah. It's not like I don't believe in what the Quran says. I don't believe like people are trying to say, I don't use the same logic here. But the Quran itself has given us criterion to check, ponder upon the Quran. Do not reflect upon the Quran. He is speaking to the non-believers. This verse is speaking to the non-believers, the people who don't believe in the Quran. Like, check the Quran. There is no contradiction. But when we check in the Quran, then we find the verses like the one I have just showed you, okay?
But I understand the psychology behind a verse like this. This is just reverse psychology. Yeah. Yeah, because it primes you. You know, the book itself is telling you that there's no way you'd find a contradiction, right? And at the same time, too, your mental faculties would that I mean, this book is saying this, so obviously to make sure to devoid the entire book from any contradictions, and yet there are contradictions. Okay, then it means that maybe I am the one seeing it as contradiction. Maybe there's an explanation to it. You see, it's all just psychological, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one, it primes you psychologically. You see, especially even for the believer himself. The believer himself would argue that no, because already psychologically in the subconscious, the book has told him, it has given him that assurance that there's no contradiction to be found in it. You see, so for him, with this at the back of his mind, even when presented with a supposed contradiction, he is not going to see it that way. He's going to see that, oh no, maybe you are the one seeing it as a contradiction, because at the back of his mind, even the book itself has assured him that you can't find contradictions. You see how the whole thing is.
Yeah, I get the point.
Yeah.
Okay. So for you right now as Kevin, somebody who is neutral, not a Christian, not a Muslim, who is just, has this convinced you that there's a contradiction in the Quran?
Oh, I know the question you're asking is very rhetorical.
I want to know.
You know, you already know the answer. But yeah, by all jokes aside, I mean, in all seriousness, this is just, I mean, for me with a clear head, you know, I mean, come on, of course, the last thing I would ever be is to be convinced by this, you know, but this but it's something like this just goes on to reinforce the trust and belief that the believer has. Understand? This one is not really for non-believers. Don't be fooled. You think it's for the non-believers, but it's not really for. But no, it is for those who believe already, to reinforce their belief, their already existing belief in it. You understand?
Okay. So
it's just basic. Yeah, it's just basic
so
psychology.
I think that I have made a point here. Okay, indeed, if you are watching this video now, bear in mind that nobody said to attack him. Okay, one thing I don't get is that sometimes, no, if you read what the Muslims, their sources are saying, the book will import kind of cramp now. They say you are insulting, you are attacking. You just read it. You just simply read what they themselves have in their books, and I say they have accepted even as authentic, you know. And they will say, why are you attacking us? You just read it. A problem, I'm for okay. Muntie, maybe the best way a good screen so yeah, you can move forward. Kevin, I want you to do us the favor one more time, okay, and read this verse for us. Quran chapter 8, verse number 43. Okay, and let me know. Me and Kevin, I'm not gonna say anything. So that maybe you say me now from one understanding when you read this verse now. How would you explain this verse to us, according to what you see?
Should I read it?
8, verse 43, yes. And I want you to understand, explain this for us, according to how you understand this one.
Remember, O Muhammad, when Allah showed them to you in your dream as few, and if he had shown them to you as many, you believers would have lost courage and would have disputed in the matter of whether to fight. But Allah saved you from that. Indeed, he is knowing of that within the breasts.
Okay.
Okay.
So with this
Let me let
short
it.
verse,
So let me think of what's it saying. Remember Muhammad, when Allah showed them to you in your dream as few, and if He has shown them to you as many believers would have lost courage and without disputing the matter of whether to fight about Allah. Okay. Okay, I think I'm having an idea, but I don't know if I'm really getting the full scope of it. Like, what is it really talking about?
Is Allah making 419? 419.
Just give me your idea. What idea do you have about this verse?
I'm trying to figure it out. Let me see. I think let me see. When Allah showed them to you in your dream as few, and if He has showed them to you as many, you believers would have lost courage and would have disputed in the matter of whether to fight. I think this one is speaking to maybe Allah wanting to incite an attack or something.
Okay.
And maybe he felt like if he had revealed the true numbers of the people they're supposed to attack, maybe it would have discouraged them into attacking. So he did it. So he decided to just conceal that information from them or something. Or is that what it's saying?
Yeah. That is what I also get from here. So would that be lying, or would that be deception, or would that be truthful according to what it says?
Yeah, let me just take a moment to take a look at it again. Let me see. Remember when Allah showed them to you in your dream as few, and if He had shown them to you as many, you believers would have lost courage and would have disputed in the matter of whether to fight. But Allah saved you from that. Indeed, He's knowing of that within the breasts. But what is that? What is it with that last line? The thing that has to do like with breasts. What is that?
In your heart. Okay, they will say that it means in your heart. Allah knows what is in your heart.
Yeah, I mean, for this one, it just seems like a classic case of deception or something. No.
Okay, the whole thing was about the Muslims were about to go to war with their enemies. Okay, so it's a war zone, but their enemies, they were more in numbers. Okay, so in a dream, this verse is tomorrow. In a dream, Allah revealed the numbers of the enemies as few to Prophet Muhammad, just to encourage him. You see, so he revealed the numbers as few, so that he will have the courage to go fight. Because if Allah revealed the total number of the disbelievers to Prophet Muhammad, it will discourage them. Yes. So Allah had a plan according to the statement, and He revealed this number so that they will have the courage to go and fight. And then, is that deception, or is not? It's not deception. That is what I'm asking the questions here. Okay, let's ask Sheikh Hafiz Buhari. Listen to Sheikh.
It's deception. It's deception.
No.
Let me see. Listen.
In the dream, no. Nyame ma commission. In the dream, no. Nyame ma commission enhu se enkrofo na yeketu ebi. We nya intro. Enya so twa ntwa kire no. Nyame ma commission enhu ne se omo yeketu ebi. Den na Yakobɔ pa kire verse no. It means on ka so omo yeketu ebi o. Muntie ne ye. Nyame nka se edom no omododo yeketu ebi. The Osi me manahun se a yakitu ebi, and no yantro. Nyame se me manahun se, send ye beya on bohu into a psychotherapy. Oh, psych, and Shono, over to me, I know. This is the meaning of the verse of the Quran. This is the meaning, and yet deceit. And yet deceit.
Hey, Hafiz Buhari. Or Ghana, a Muslim apologetics now. This is so try the best. This kind of verse we say no, the bread woman you question almost say okay. You say okay. From but God the me person me used to be say and Bible one say. So God, if God says yes, sir. Why? If God says you alone can defeat 22 million armies, sir. as many, if I believe in a God, not God catch them and say, "Oh, you will defeat them." If I am with you, nobody is against you. Nobody can be. Wait, I say, why does God have to convince? And I said to like deceive. What I say, you have to convince me. And I say like compromise and try to convince me to go. Maybe say, I know to check the explanation what the man according to this verse, no, and convince you one.
I intro, forget your.
Hey, yeah, Sebo. Because Kevin, I wanted you to say woman be different of understanding. Be a whole kind of anchor at least no. What was that? Okay, you get a point.
Masa, Jai, we all that. So what other understanding you want to give you? Understanding, baby. These people are lying through their teeth, man. Psychotherapy, is this what psychotherapy is? Or no, psychotherapy. What job is this psychotherapy? You know what psychotherapy is? Just say, are you serious right now? Right now, God is administering psychotherapy. Are you serious? In your dreams, psychotherapy.
Yeah, to me, I understand is one thing about the Muslim
psychotherapy. Just therapy. Not a psychologist. No, you do a psychological like sort of like mechanisms. Try to help you overcome your emotions, and I say who have certain emotional difficulties in your life, and I say that depression is as psychotherapy. Now we will be a will be and so over apply therapy. What kind of topical kind of baby this?
Well, yeah, therapy in the dream.
Hello,
in the dream therapy.
To just chant to get you to do his bidding. That's what it is. Now John Maka say psychotherapy. Yeah,
now okay, and that is we say so clear. I will say just say to me then the some of the Muslims, no, or more. The more now you say ridiculous things, the more crampon they will push you forward. Anything that you hear that what they say now, and then media, I don't want to say anything just like that. Say I prefer say you will few viewers. That's not the American. Meaning say the American the American side we say. Now a few viewers now. I would rather prefer say me can't say my meaning say I'm just saying to motivate the people. Me can't show more viewers. No, so what they say now. Because these people know I quite say once you say something they don't your panel, they don't really support you. They just agree with you on this issue. Just for a matter of time. You always have to go according to what they want you to say. So and if you want now, because I have the access to say Bianca, my laptop will say apart from say my life for now, me you see because me my handy now, maybe me use my handy no, me printer me connected to my handy.
That UTI guy, that UTI that guy, they say I think I've heard him a couple of times. That guy is a very intelligent guy. So I'm in TRCS. It's part of the intelligence.
Because who is a UTI intelligent guy in what sense the way intelligent? Okay,
oh no, he is.
No a teacher.
No.
No a teacher.
Or a teacher.
My team be that some teacher, but one another one can be no teacher, but meaning say be no a public teacher, and I say we Arabic teacher now, or children quite or Makalanta no. And you meet my teacher, but meaning say no a child was school man, I say but he was a teacher.
No, but don't get it twisted, Tio. Yeah, not like I mean. I know how to read people. I know how to even my background in psychology. Like I know these things. There are some people you dialogue with. There are some people you listen to them. You know, say, and yes, say Jimmy, sebi, and I say Onimde Debbie. Obi tell you, I've heard him a couple of times. He's a very intelligent guy. Very, 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 very intelligent. But but the unfortunate thing is when you take a religious position, it forces you into a state of cognitive dissonance. And that thing, it's a very serious thing. Anybody can be subject to it, to override whatever academic intellect you have. So a bit regardless of how exposed you are intellectually, a bit might bring you down and to force you to ascribe to certain mentalities. So that's what's happening with him. But like with all that aside, Nadia, he's a very intelligent guy. I've heard him a couple of times. Yeah.
Now, okay. And Say the can was saying this verse was saying according to me understanding, okay? Say you find God because the Muslims they believe that the God in the Bible and only God in the Quran, okay? It means say you see in Bible one say no. But we already say in the Bible, no, there was a time when God was sending, I think say Gideon to go and fight. And I said, "Me if say Gideon, I said, "Will be okay." Nenko for no mkoko God catch and say, "Omo monko insuo bi mpa no, no monko no munsuo no. Why do one be so near about my sign? Because omo doso. So God wanted a few people to go and fight with a huge numbers. Say the Bible who say God to me, Yankopon to me, and the count omo. God didn't have to let them know. Say someone said me patch no. We already have an example. God showed His power. Take 300 men to go and fight 10,000 of soldiers, enemies. 300 to fight these kind of people, no. The God in the Quran is telling us, and I say he's deceiving his prophet, his own prophet, no. He's making him, and I say he's making him in a dream, no. See, according to the story, he sees a few in numbers, just that they will be encouraged to go. But God could have just said, "Go if you believe in me, go and I'm with you." And Quebec must solve that problem with him. But
Zato.
Yes.
So then they see what a small country called then they see what
I don't know. A Bible must say me boy.
why would it ya? So okasi by en fa Bible no so na wa odi bia be shem. And also onyankopon ma don't you akoi ma small country be or no Israel mo ngwan all because akwebia gold yakwa shede ntamam ntino onyankopon bu afu na so ade no wan kan kire wan sa na omo nkoko ntokwa no ama onko bro ana wogwan ansa na Joshua be fasting ama onyi kire ne say sa asemesi we yakwa gold akwia patekari intimo mfra ne mra. They end up burning his whole family, stone them to death. What kind of answer now? If you are you know, what say the Bible maybe the energy from prayer.
Now, okay, it's a mechanic, okay, it's where any Bible wants them there. Can I say? And an example now was I didn't say Crampono. And you the same, what I say, and you the same. And my message was so question too much. I'm a fault, said the Kevin,
wow, fault, I feel the wow fault. Me, that's not my idea, that be show. It's not be chill. I'll try to tell you something.
What
I'll tell you something. And I
focus too much. I said okay. It's the best at Chemo. I said my Chemo one a contradiction according to me understanding. To me understanding. The best people say you understanding do one man most of the meeting with the Muslim brother now he's not calling back. So he's not calling back. So I don't know why. And according to best now with the good screen. So me understanding the a contradiction. You who know Quran and say you who know contradiction with Quran and muna infringe a couple. Beside the best we actually want to say, oh, check the best with now here, and yet the character of God, no. And so, me who say a problem, I say once again, a meme opinion doesn't mean say was offer. Also, bet me for now, I can do. I say okay. Sheikh Hafiz Buhari, I may say a psychotherapy. And this is Sheikh Hafiz Buhari. Last several kind of
intro. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay, yeah. Well, another video I say say the make Muslims. So who kind idea e wo book ni mu na obetimi abia kire o se book na wo gidi no e wo book ni sa na wo book ni mu no o kan kire o no eno kwan po ye insult na me ntia se moment Sheikh Hafiz Buhari I say Mami Grace program so na obko okay me nya hwe sa program na Hafiz Buhari ko Mami Grace so no but the short one na ma hwe no me wo Mami Grace mo Hafiz Buhari pressure bi a em nwa Mami Grace say that I say energy na odi ma Hafiz Buhari na ye one of a kind. A Muslim brother be an answer ex-Muslim and answer will be a no way Muslim or call Mami Grace Honum. And Okoke can say be what Mami Grace Honum and Muslims need it. I send back all kind and say Prophet Muhammad no or side chick or say a bad modern day monarch a bear side chick no combine or be or bar and a wife. Into a modern day monarch a bear kind of side chicks and all kind that time okay. Into Hafiz Buhari call Mami Grace Honum and then Mami Grace able to say what is our story and that. And I'm going to have Facebook.
Prophets having a side chick.
Islam by no, Islam protected a man. In what way did Islam protected a man?
in this 21st century. Quran akatra in 1400 years ago say
Oh, you heard him.
Yeah, I heard him.
That lady, who was she?
So Maria was a wife of the prophet with lower standing.
Islam actually equality.
It's here for UTI that one that screen is saying UTI liar no no that has saying okay. And it's how Maria now mo kasa fa no ho okay. Youth Sheikh Hafiz Buhari say Oba no tebio sometimes no for them to defend Prophet Muhammad no they go even against the Quran. And I mean say no. It's Ubaka say they have placed say the Otie Wamunda they have placed Prophet Muhammad above the Quran. Or say Prophet Muhammad a wife or say Oba Sa Mariano a Prophet Muhammad wife. But a wife with lower standard. I said, just say, "Mume the Quran e kan ha say." For them not to defend Prophet Muhammad, they are they're even going against their own Quran. Even the Quran, Quran chapter 4, verse number 3. Quran chapter 4, verse number 3. Okay, I can say, and if you fear that you will not deal justly with the orphan girls, then marry those that pleases you and also please you of other women, 2 or 3 or 4. But if you fear that you will not be just, then marry only one of those your right hand possesses. What does it? According to this statement, when a Muslims, the Muslims are allowed to marry. I say Allah shall say with 2, marry 2, 3 or 4, and then they had the standard now. Allah them are woman. A Muslim should marry 2, 3 or 4, but if you cannot be just with them now, so what do you mean entry to not just? What do you mean justice to them, man? And then you marry only one. And then Sheikh Hafiz Buhari, I can't say Prophet Muhammad. He had a wife now. The wife will be a lower standard now. A just now, and I say a unjust. Me here adventure, I say. When you compare Sheikh Hafiz Buhari, you can find the prophet, huh? Say the prophet, yes, he had a wife. Not all wife, and the wife needs lower standard. Any wife say a higher standard. Now Allah say, so over wale more than one they are. More justice to them. That means you will treat them equally. You treat them fair.
But that specific wife, now say, or a wife, but of a lower standing.
Mm-hmm.
So standing, like in what sense did he mean that? In what context? Low in what sense?
And yet, when your wife from Paul, that woman who was a gift now, somebody a king, according to the story, say a king being or more gifted, or they again as a slave, ever chair Prophet Muhammad. About buying the girl no way fine. You know what say now? And Prophet Muhammad, so we are Prophet Muhammad wives now. This girl no omun kind in home. I remember say me who I think say omun kind in home po.
Okay.
What I say until Prophet Muhammad it's
not all other wives.
No, Prophet Muhammad had wives. Okay,
that time, but not all, that very moment, not all other wives.
Yes, story. Echo say story. I can't say okay. My man can't say it. Prophet Muhammad, wife will be or many or multiple wives, or more than 4 wives. Quran can say, "Open so wale 2, 3, or 4." But Prophet Muhammad did there. He had more than 4 wives. There was a time on a specific time now. He had 9 wives at a time. 9 wives. Prophet Muhammad is allowed to have unlimited numbers of wives. Only for him, according to the Muslims. All the other Muslims, they follow the Quran. Prophet Muhammad, above the Quran, according to the Muslims. Yeah, according to me. See, if a Quran and they are okay. Laws, rule, we say, Muslims, which will include Prophet Muhammad as a Muslim too. But Prophet Muhammad, according to their own sources, no, he had more than 4 wives. Okay, and there was a time now he had 9 wives at a time. Because last me check Omudi Omunina di na yefangu hono na amanfo hwebi. Okay. Sauda Aisha spouse, then wives of Muhammad. Okay, maybe I think I'm going to be sour. Say I'm from say me the good screen so now. So you can it was screen this one. Okay. According to the wives, no, the first wife, no, consort, no, first wife Khadija, on and a Sauda, and a saying, and some Maria we say no. Some Maria we say the status na unclear or say. According to her say grandpa, I'm saying the status na unclear. Okay, and the status as a wife or concubine. So the status a unclear. Muslims no normally kind of what they are in a wife. Or in a wife or yen why they are wale na nasi bibisa. And nothing I can say or a lower standard wife because he doesn't want to accept the prophet or there kokuma nasi bibisa. On person beji starting at home. But Allah say so wives no ultimate treat you na pedia while one pay. Sana Allah can according to the Quran. And you know, the wife double standard you want to say back. I don't know. No one make up to me they are clear because of people defending the prophet into the workers' statement. We say okay. But once I read another problem here, I say okay. Prophet Quran kind of say, if you cannot treat them fair, but if you fear that you will not be just, then marry only one or those your right hand possesses. Those your right hand possesses near there.
Slaves are answering.
Hey, with slaves, no. So to say now.
Yeah.
Either so you marry only one woman, and I say those your right hand possesses. And with slaves, then you don't have to marry them. You can have them there, and then you have them as your property. You can do whatever you want with them. That is what. Yes, and I may count. Some Muslims now eka. So to say now, or you slave get there, and you can do whatever you want with her. She has a status now. Want to me complain? Want to me now? Okay. Una odia. Una bet me na idea opebia. Sanity was say okay. So before verse we say the same chapter, Quran chapter 4, one now, okay. Beside another verse we can Quran chapter 4, verse 129. A cast statement you have said as well. Ebia obehu dem patch was is a book there. Say who can and say bia unya. Quran chapter 4, verse 128 and 129. I can say, and if a woman fears from husband contempt or evasion, there is no sin upon them if they make term of settlements between them and settle and settlement is best. Okay, and he said, Obano who said Bemano ye name be a Obana ninja hon ya. Obetima settle the now so then.
We'll find a way.
And I say, okay. And present in human soul, and then okay. Verse number 29, I can be say what I say. And you will never be able to be equal between wives. And I'm shall say in feelings. What does it? If I say we say the Quran, if I say in feelings, there be any Quran way into bracket. The word bracket will be any Quran, but you can't okay. And you have say no verse by according say one has to be just with the wives. Either say you will be just with them, all of them, and I say you marry one. Verse number 29, and they say, and one will never be able to be equal between wives. How do you understand this? Even if you should strive to do so, and all the way in a couple of catchers, so we'll try to say you will be equal with your wife now, and possible. If somebody has a wife or you're equal, the person is lying. We can't drop one. Yeah. So let me part. Yeah. It is a
Yeah, other parts, no. Other side, no. And also Quran, the other Omo conditions, no.
Yeah. So and so Quran chapter 4, the same chapter now. Wait for you with the same chapter 4, verse number 3, and I can't say you should marry 1, 2, 3, or 4. And I say, you should marry 2, 3, or 4. So ultimately just when you say if you cannot be just with them, then marry one, then you only have to cater for one woman. That same chapter 9 and verse 129, Allah so culture will say, ultimately treat you equal. That is never, and you will never be able to be equal in feelings. In feelings, never be say now, okay, between your wife.
Oh, there you feel it. Oh, the benefit of the doubt. You in feeling you feel.
Now, so I'm say, your differences. I think I'm be explaining the message that. I'm gonna say your difference in feelings, not the end there. It cannot be equal. But so bet you to just no. So my way join also my way so join. So the same. So what to Italian way they also to Italian way say. But feeling. So I don't remember example. I'm just giving you said maybe go ahead and the country, you know. But how do you find this as an is it a proper understanding?
Oh, maybe I mean it doesn't like NCC Sumame. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Now, yeah, okay. It is an statement to the was saying okay. It's Sheikh Hafiz Buhari at honum at Mami Grace TV. So once again, you know. So mo can be na and famous and Mrs. Bibliona and form or kind Quran or more kind Arabic. Or more kind Arabic or more reciting Arabic. They with beautiful voice. But so the point in it, I don't know. They don't understand what they are reading. Almost say because I would see with that tone on the kind of you cannot deny say a catchy, a very sweet, a nice. And India the same thing at here. So India for you be a normal DJ nice there, but understanding there a lot of them no. I'm sure analyzing who here. To catch no be say you are insulting. So and so do baby no be say English ni mom na fault but Arabic na clear Arabic na very nice. So they show with so I said okay. Inti Hafiz Buhari kakranka ho. Inti no.
Standing.
Islam actually equality. Nananom si no equality me bachirawo. Nananom no.
Also in Islam there is equality.
Equality.
Okay. Wife in the lower standing.
Yes, yes.
Equality.
Okay. Wife in the lower standing.
Yes, yes.
Wife in the lower standing.
Yes, 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 yes.
So was she?
So Maria was a wife of the prophet with lower standing.
There is equality. Will be Islam.
Wife in the lower standing.
Yes.
Obwa they can. It's you tell that why liar. But obi in sin obi wo Islam obwa totally. There were verse be honum crampona about Emma Quran can say Emma is like I mean who knows that verse now. I say women are like your field. To say you can go to them whatever. Even the Quran there is a verse correct can say women have like a deficiency in their brain. So what I say now. Your best I say women have deficiency. The women have deficiency, and that is why now you need say be a band of witness in a form of witness now. You need 2 women and 1 man to witness because 2 women is equal to 1 man. So when was it? I don't know. That is why equality be anyone who's our can't throw.
I understand.
We can't throw me service. Me ye Arab Quranics a yache but me verse me verse no now. Oh yeah, say there is equality obwa and throw no water. Intro with verse Quran chapter 2. Quran chapter 2. I ain't find a war. Verse number saying about no this is here. 222. Okay, bye.
But I mean, just said Quran. It was written with the social context of the day, so and that time, so I didn't like gender equality. This assembly was very foreign to them. Even the women themselves didn't see themselves equal to men. So I don't
you get a point here. It's everyone say, Senka, can be okay at the time, no. Sanity, the body, say they be a Quran impon a buy before I said the Quran, TBO, according to the Muslim narrative, na Kasano. Before I say Islam, Ebeba, Prophet Muhammad, Ebaba, a prophet, no. He used to work for a woman. He was employed by a woman.
Yeah, so there's a Hajj another one.
The Khadija, the first wife, that woman, the boss, and the women have their position, they have dignity before Quran and after Islam came. That Arabian Peninsula, women have their position. Men used to work for women. A Quran, they buy and flip, a bit changing, I can't say a women and more submissive to men, and the men have to come kofa. The women almost depend on men, so a men they provided for women, and the BBC they changing system. But guy, we say they be okay. Well, see, your wives are a place of sowing of seed for you. Okay, it's in a Quran and for women who now say equality. So come to your place of cultivation, however you wish, and put forth for yourself. And however you wish. Captain, one more emphasis according to Quranic verse, we say no. I state however you wish. And however I want to come to my wife, no. Quran any day, I say, what the why you be because however you wish now. Maybe however you wish. You as the man, however you wish, you know, that is how you come to her because I whole land and whole country you are coming to see you. So they go. And then they are open there, and one house I can. Hey, Captain, remember, for your way, and fear Allah and know that you will meet Him, okay, and give good tidings to the believers, okay. And the way say no, I can't say Emma Obia or more dignity and say baby son and that or that down, okay, or that down, and just Obia or Obia joining. It's about Islam now. What they say now? I want for by a coincidence. I'm on for any time, but they okay. I think say any akasa. I'm show me points there. What I say no. You open a corner who say I'm not like exaggerating. And I say be I'm far fetched because I'm trying to put something there in the honor. Did I make us a imagine? So also who different understanding now. My asante. Into the shape. I for one no. Now, I said I for one, no, I haven't been of the position, say, or the belief, or I haven't been under the impression, say, maybe you are making anything up or you are forcing anything when it comes to criticizing Muslims. So for you, no, I've never thought of it that way. I always felt, say, like you would apply the same level of scrutiny to your own belief. That's all I've always been saying. But say, maybe, should I make things up? And maybe I'll force narratives for Muslim side. I mean, I've never really seen it that way with you. No. Yes, but the whole point is it's coming from the way Muslims who say why are you even reading the Quran? You are attacking us. So that may patch on. Some people know they are all the ones now. You are not a Muslim and you're asking questions now. It will make them think about certain things, you know. And no Quran enough. You are attacking us. So it's your mom person. Like I keep saying, sometimes maybe I'll sound like a broken record, but psychology maybe, and we have friend overcompensation. And today I go higher and say, and go form it here, or once I don't know. But I won't say before you be on my army at Tintin. I won't say more times we are is a gentle giant. Go more or your Tintin grand, our friend is small, or you're cool, calm, no for, but to be so more kitty, but even you can see that among animals scramble. Say we are butchered out and cramino. Most of the time, kitten. I'm not the Bible, so man, yeah, but who said, Kesen, I'm not more gentle. Or more yet, but kitten, also, yeah, they are overcompensating for their diminutive stature. What you say, sanity, you know, or more move. They know it deep down psychologically in the back of their minds. They know the kind of like
standing they have as a religion in comparison to even as a Christianity. Christianity of a somewhat, even though it's subjective, but it's of a higher standard compared to theirs in the world, in the eyes of the world. They know it. And I just say geographical locations, they are fine, on a very predominantly Islam. But in terms of popularity, so even the numbers now they know it. Say it's like it's as if they're in competition with the bigger, as a religion. So it's every time they are so they are much more like responsive to it in a negative way than ABI. But the Christian is rest assured in the belief, say, oh, this one it's obvious to say I am in the right religion. I mean, just look at it, it's popular. It's this, is that. It's more relaxed. It doesn't need to get aggressive. It's all psychological. What you are saying? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's here twice. So in moment, beauty liar and ninkofo. Okay.
So, in what way did Islam protected Emma?
Wife in the lower standing.
Yes. So,
are human being not human enough? Are we not human beings? Must we not love each other?
Bet me actually marabia e wo wiase e for bidi obi say woni ne yere ebeda e woni yere for
the lowest wife.
So they will
Obani honor one of my honor
Maria no
Seto.
Oye maliku ye.
Yeah. That's how Motimenkade.
Yeah, I said the Okasa Neton Kasa Okasa before the Amante.
No, yeah, before, but like me kasa nyina by and large motive.
Me tell clear. Me the reason why now.
Okay.
What about I say what restroom no? Maybe say I don't know how it sounded.
And one more thing, Utie.
Metie.
Me pesa obisa vora say say I've been very, very like particular about me tone here. They said I won't come across as toxic and that, but okay, maybe not a very meaning say that being sarcastic, the idea no dear, but I said I should be respectful. So then I don't understand that part.
About the in our casa found say.
I think I think we can be say be say more restroom, but I think he took offense to that.
No, okay, but I don't know. Maybe some uncle commenting where I don't know.
He said I should be respectful today because I didn't refer to him by name and not Bisa. I mean, I stand to be corrected, but I feel that is not fair if you should really talk like that.
No, okay, maybe you can bora akasa or comment in the more. Okay, yeah. Men focus too much on the comments, and it's a bit distracting. Okay, you can join the comment. You bet my join. Bora bet my joining. Now I can't also.
I'm not distracted at all, but I just like to believe, like say, those of us who are active on the platform together with the commenters, we are like one community. It's the way. So I like to be interactive with everyone.
Now, okay.
Yeah.
It's Hafiz story now Hafiz Buhari or more can I say we are making narrative story meaning the reason why now Prophet Muhammad is a woman they could die. So it's here. Or no can say or a lower standard wife. Hafiz Buhari patch said there is no law actually say so a wife won't mean for wife we say that the other wife and impom low bianco. And the argument now about what is all kinds of argument.
Come again.
The lowest wife.
So they will
Obani honor one of my honor
Maria no oye maliku yemin enye oba okope no ware no a gift. She was gifted to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
No one can know.
Why no? No, why no?
Are human being not human enough?
How can you cry me one say there is nothing wrong with him? Brebi and Chichiro be said me no two way and to me possible. Put say ya worry.
But Baby Grace Hafiz Buhari. Hafiz Buhari made a full video about disrespect, disrespect. And I said, disrespect. That was 200. I'm sure there was 80 million possible. Put that over my wife.
Oh no, then you say I get disrespect.
Well, it's
No.
I get
No,
disrespect.
two way. And I say there is nothing wrong with him. Rebi and Chichiro be said me no two way. And to me, possible. Put say ya worry. Na me no yam panie. Na me kwa haba na de Aisha be dam panaso. So respect to anyone in this one.
So I'm asking you, which you see, this is emotional argument.
This is emotional argument.
Yes, emotional.
Are we not human?
So what on the argument? I say emotional argument. And you only I just Quran can say just be just. According to Muslims, the Prophet no be the wives or wale or mono. Obia won the day or ye day or the corner honum. So they say any day we say near wife A or China A wife B to just miss or stay or house honum. There is no need. So I did Obia one the place I will stay. No, there is no need for him to take another wife and say the wife we say that way impom. He could have never done that with the first Khadija. Or Khadija said because was in the first wife, according to the Muslims. I know in the boss, no, or in the chef. Prophet Muhammad could never bring another woman into his wife. Aisha Krampono, that is the one yes, sir. So what is here now? And the wife back or this or by we call on. I did a story and said the wife of the Pia Bonto baby. And I was how about we say a servant. When your wife of Prophet Muhammad or a servant of Prophet Muhammad, but I think be a prophet and about 400 man as if it is the wife on the core, but to quiet as all baby, what they can say. And a Prophet Muhammad, Edisa, Mariano, a bad few honum, a bad share Nimpanaso. And to get any baby, one or by Fientem, or be do or could be a coin or bantam, as all sanity by. To buy a Robert to be Pierso, say near Cost honum. And I was say, I don't know where you may miss her. Why are you doing this to me? We be saying a course of honor, and now Prophet Muhammad a panic and all can say, men can't tell Aisha the Obu who has saying.
Where did I say correct?
Verse no Quran anymore, and an explanation a war hadith in them. The reason why not verse in the Bible according to the Muslims. So what they say according to the Muslims, not according to me. And I'm more to kind the old books no more magia to mukrampo now. You bet me I can do as I say you bet me I can kakra say with your time you wait 30 minutes. Until we you bet can but the chair more screen so now moody watching yes and I say Hafiz Buhari they say the dishonest and I don't know say I'm not for the mobile want more can be even though Hafiz Buhari him say was sources you bet me can you bet me can e wo honom wo internet to say but still no they will lie and I mean they are comfortable.
Yes, emotional.
Must we not love each other?
Yes, emotional.
Are we not human beings?
Banta, my brother, thank you so much for coming all the way from Takrade. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching Revelations. I'm always there, Queen. Na ya ombo ni humusu no fa Aisha mbeda me ne mpaso. Kade chi abahwehwe wuti e wo mpanase wo.
It is either a question or it's for them not to defend Prophet Muhammad. Say, come more accept to say, yeah, Prophet Muhammad was a prophet. A Quran can say Prophet Muhammad is just a human being like us. Sana Quran the Okon. Quran can say Prophet Muhammad is just a male, it's just a human being like us. Or any part say, yeah. There is nothing strong. Ebia one home. Sana Quran can. It's any human being, yeah, form, yeah, mistake. So they say, nah, because the Bible, and I say, because of Jesus' status now, a warner. That is why now they want to elevate Prophet Muhammad. No more against what the Quran is even saying. And I meant to say no, I say okay. But some verse now, or more can I Quran chapter 66, I think 66 and 65. I mean, Quran there. 66 and 65. Okay, Quran chapter 66. Okay. Into the kind Quran chapter 66 now. With the good screen, so now I'm for okay. Or say Quran chapter 66, verse number 1. I kind of say, oh prophet, why do you prohibit yourself from what Allah has made lawful for you, seeking the approval of your wives, and Allah is forgiving and merciful? This verse and they say Prophet Muhammad has making something unlawful for himself, what Allah has made lawful for him, because for his seeking approval from his wives. And then, no. That means the Quran part is the Prophet Muhammad has the right to have an affair with that woman, Mariano. So you comment. He has that right to do so. And because of his wives now, or no, or any quite have biano. And the wife back on Baba Tosono. And I then all person will stay away from the wife, but he has the right to do so. So according to this verse, like Prophet Muhammad is going against what Allah has made lawful for him. And Allah is questioning him. So why
just the on patch and said he felt some way about him he didn't need to feel that way.
You know, or no one ever country was Allah some country said the year. So revelation on the deba. Oh, it's the way and also the revelation about the country was Allah said Allah can. Allah has ordained, Allah has already ordained for you, Muslims, okay, into bracket, Muslims, the dissolution of your oath. Muslims say make I did be all bracket mubiano. Wait me year for one. Usually do me year for one. Instead any can say one okay. Me find another translation and for brackets be ama honum. Okay.
Oh, you better to us say the meet me just
because Allah has decreed for you the dissolutions of your oath. Allah is your master. He is the knowing and the merciful, and I say the most wise. And see, according to statement we say in the Prophet Muhammad our privileges be on obetima can time, obetima can oath, obetima can oath, but the oath obetima side there. Only ones who follow the oath no obekano. Or no swear, or no they was all right to me. Only ones who do so. That is the right for Prophet Muhammad, okay? The Prophet told something in confidence to one of his wives. But when she disclosed it and Allah made it known to him, he communicated part of it. Where Allah has said, no, Allah okay. He communicated part of it and he avoided another part. Then, when he informed her of it, she said, "Who informed you of this?" He said, "The all-knowing and the all-informed me." In the part we say, according to the narrative, time na Prophet Muhammad any sa marry and kokoda the wife efie na the wife ne buy and the wife ne ba chill no abeto so no and o catch and say men can't tell Aisha the happen was say men can't tell Aisha okay but the wife ne ko catch Aisha and Allah abetire Prophet Muhammad say according to story Allah catch Prophet Muhammad say asem na o catch wife no okay say mane koka no wakoka kire Aisha okay ti akwakoye nti Allah reveal ya kire no ti the wife no be say e na wo tie ye and o say Allah na ka kire no bibi say na kaso ha say okay
one a guy like maintain what I said but one a guy say all informed
he near Prophet Muhammad he said into Prophet Muhammad said the all knowing the all informed me
say what to
I continue to watch Aisha. It's yet to us what I was saying. If you repent to Allah, okay, then your heart have listened. But if you band together against him, then Allah is his ally, as Gabriel, as the righteous believers. In addition, the angels will assist him. Best way to so patch say, you see Aisha on the wife back when I see the friend Sauda and I say baby sir. Me person body number 10, but on it Aisha and another wife no. Omo no by together and omo the Prophet Muhammad so. So the say na. And I say omo give the pressure. And according to statement we say no, and Allah catch up to they should repent. Omo nya de omo ye no I say no. Omo by together, omo the Prophet Muhammad so. E man me no, e man two no. There's two wives now according to hadith no. In the Quran, women have deficiency in their brain. So we together, Prophet Muhammad Swah. Then Allah, okay? So if you come against together now on him now, then Allah is his ally. Not only Allah, as is Gabriel. But I want to say it's Allah your protector. So Allah your protector. What is Gabriel going to do?
Yeah.
What is saying? Logically, no. If Allah, the Almighty God, so on your protector, Gabriel home for so baby, but again no as is Gabriel, and the righteous believers too. In addition, the angels will assist him. But you know who before question. Sometimes they are
when you know eka revelation na onya in the cave no.
We say cave one of them just a revelation be no cave mo. Sometimes be happy situation be happy see now revelation about. It's a revelation about according to the Muslim narrative, it take like 23 years, 22 to 23 years, and a revelation.
This very narrative CCR, it came by way of revelation.
You know, according to them, yes. Wahi.
It's you know Muhammad na and now no what's answer so.
Okay.
Eka.
You know, exactly. Exactly. Okay. It's the try me say me hunu omo hadith na narrative stories na ye can kind of say the be am hunu say nya me ma adwunum e say me say e clear say nya me ma adwunum me dey kasa wa ha say. So je be Quran chapter into omo book no dey da honom a obi a metima fa kan bi. Into me kan wi a na me make understand na me nya wo sa ade we ho no. Enye from me say bia me to na me nya me understand e bi. Okay, bit me kind actually I say verse into one of the tafsirs in where commentary about the one but when the prophet confided a fact unto one of his wives, Hafsa, wife and a friend Hafsa, and yes Sauda, Hafsa. So on then me person me body because I'm refi. And when she afterwards divulged it, Hafsa divulged to Aisha that what the prophet told her in confidence. Okay, and Allah apprised to him thereof. And today I even Prophet Muhammad ekachire Hafsa and say man kanchire Aisha. Story ben on okay. And Allah informed him that Hafsa informed Aisha. He made known to her part of thereof, but only part Allah part of what she said to Aisha. Allah one can do only part. Okay, first story.
But yeah.
Aisha regarding the leadership of Abu Bakr and Umar, and it is said about seeing Maria the Copt on his own. So to say, and the Prophet Muhammad went to see Maria the Copt on his own. And pass over part, he did not mention making forbidden Maria the Copt on himself, nor what he told her concerning the leadership of Abu Bakr. Okay, story we come has say.
It's way a hadith now canana.
Where a tafsir, where a commentary. Commentary about the verse, the commentary verse way by any bibisana a say. There are more different commentaries. Where a commentary Ibn Abbas, Tafsir Ibn Abbas. Tafsir is just a commentary. Okay. And you go to my side another Tafsir Ajalalain. And you go to my way to my kind Tafsir in me no both differences. Okay. And they issue to know what fast when I'm a so Tafsir when I'm a that is what the Muslims do. Okay, and also
yeah, we are comfortable with the one that makes you sleep better.
No, we are comfortable with the tafsir is no doors one. No, we want to say be one ma. What the Ibn Kathir we say China say be a tafsir Ibn Kathir say no can ya. After us, David me pay we say. But you do maybe they don't open the Ibn Kathir can no accept it. So what is that verse no? A 1 to 5, a 1 to 5, and a one story contents ni 1 to 5 on okay. Mami hwe se metimi abo me video bi dia kire mo ha say na ye video no ye de bekọ awie sisi na wo hu story ni nyame mpo a book wo honom dada omo story no already but they will still lie and I mean tiase no that they say I don't think far me ba
oh then nana obia adeda ana omo nim say ye program na
oh yeah we are the same no ye by life ye kan say e be a umanya kan mo ne say no ye by life ye kan wa say
it's very strange. Not a single person.
Yeah, but it be on my notification. If this is what topic non share interested to them. So possibilities no also.
Maria, and then we are done with the story of Maria. And
okay. And we say nyemena make kasa wa say okay we obi a ono so ye scholar since the Muslims be in already okay. Moment is the same story no narrative was said actually was said
this is an incident that the books of tafsir mention more than the books of seerah, because the Quran was revealed for this incident, and therefore the books of tafsir mention this story. And once again, so with Maria, there's all of these mini stories that are problematic from one perspective, and this is also one of them. And again, I reiterated, it better you hear it from me than from others. And also, this is in the Quran, so you can't really this is a verse in the Quran. It is reported in Tabari.
Some would say, Kevin, some would say, was it a verse from the Quran? Indeed, a verse in the Quran, I'm saying Quran chapter 66 from 1 to 5, and a verse, and the story behind the verse, and what actually was here.
And many other books of tafsir, that one day Hafsa went away and she was not going to be at home, and so the Prophet called Maria to the house of Hafsa, and it so happened that Hafsa returned earlier than she was supposed to, and she saw Maria leaving her house. So she became extremely enraged and she became irritated with the Prophet ﷺ, and she said that, Ya Rasulullah, is that how much, how do I translate this, respect you have for me, or is that what you think of me in my house and on my day? And so
what you're saying, in my house and on my day, no part saying, on the day now a prophet no, or respecting a day for her, and on the fear no, on the fear about no way back on no about tone or so.
The Prophet ﷺ continued to placate her and calm her down, and she basically was very emotional, and until eventually she made the Prophet ﷺ promise to never ever see Maria again. And the Prophet ﷺ said, I have made her haram for myself.
So what is saying, according to say the wakan see until woman no, and I said okay from say unye day uno ba ni bi no, so okay, Obana forbidden to me. It's mean you know by behavior. Anything a kind verse now, verse number 1. Now a kind saying Muhammad has made forbidden to himself what Allah has made lawful. That's what I say.
Yeah.
See a kind verse number 1 now. And it's oh prophet, why do you prohibit what Allah has permitted for you? And he said there were no energy at the any way saying any verse we share.
Yeah.
Someone was there. Yeah. Yeah, twice.
And to just say, oh no, I'm watching Mama.
Okay,
like
okay, khalas.
So you know what kind of verse in the Quran will be intimate deny, but Muslims, you know, some of them now, omuya ashamed of the story. And some person they won't find ways to be normally polishing and kind of stuff.
I give up basically. Maria is haram for me. I will never see Maria. I swear to Allah, I'm never going to see Maria again. And he told Hafsa, he made Hafsa basically keep this between the two of them, and he said, do not tell Aisha. And this shows, and here's the point here, that these types of incidents, the image that some Muslims have of our Prophet ﷺ literally makes him superhuman. So when they hear these narrations, the image they have formed in their minds crumbles. And the problem comes that this image should not have been in their minds. Our Prophet ﷺ, was he human or not? For sure he was. Right? He was the best human, he was the perfect human, but in the end of the day, he's a human being. And so, yes, he wanted Maria, and it is halal for him to have Maria. And he now wants to placate Hafsa, so he promises not to see. And he does not want Aisha to find out. Every husband here understands exactly the fear of a wife, what it can do, right? This is the reality as well, okay? So there's nothing wrong with this image at all. But the first time somebody hears it, again, because of the image that they have constructed, something is wrong. But in reality, this is human nature. All of this is completely human, and there's nothing haram that he has done.
It is according to him, it is point that let me make it before and on say some of the Muslims they want to portray Muhammad like super duper prophet. BBC say that it can never happen, but it is in their books that it is authentic. So and I want to say there is nothing wrong with this. Do you agree with me that there is really nothing wrong with this? So you have a wife, it is her day, she goes out, you bring another woman in her bed, and she was even like saying, why do you do this to me? Sheikh Nisi, there is nothing wrong with that. Do you think there is nothing wrong with that?
Oh, I mean, first of all, we can just unpack it from like on many levels. To begin with, what this Sheikh is saying, makes a lot of sense. Like if you look at Muhammad just from from a divine position, say like he's on par with the kind of image has been ascribed to Obisa Jesus. Muhammad, it's like it's very difficult for people to see him like a person who, even if he's been portrayed as a perfect human being, yes, I mean many people can be perfect in so many ways, but still fundamentally flawed as humans. You understand? So maybe that's just the way they can't really see him as, that maybe he's perfect in many ways, still fundamentally flawed. They can't see him that way. They seem like he's beyond perfection. He's as perfect as the word perfect could be. So it's like you said, that image that they have of him just crumbles when they are confronted with these kind of controversial incidents, about him. But that being said, he ended by saying, even all in all, in as much as making a fair assessment of the whole situation, and giving him the benefit of the doubt as you would any human being, because at the end of the day, it's still human nature and it's human after all. It's like he's still sort of like brushing it off by saying, he didn't do anything wrong. That's the one that can be debated, because like me, for instance, personally, now you know my stand on levels, morality there. You like your mood levels. You go out and say, wait there. On the spectrum of good or bad, they don't say wait there, it's extreme. It means what, because okay, I can see this happening. What you say? From that standpoint, I feel you could argue, maybe not yet, but I say it's so bad and so sad. What you say? You can have that kind of argument. You can put it on a spectrum of how bad or how good it was. You can really do that, because we the conditions and the factors in the ground. It's not like if you are not and I say you're a stranger, and I think from given the conditions, there's still some sort of room where he's allowed to really do certain things, even if not even allowed from a religious standpoint. In a setting where there's arrangements have been made and understanding have been had in it, I think he was still allowed some room to really have that woman that he wanted, and maybe kakra be a bit me first be a 1 year didn't say be a not a year. You're finishing the other wife not any day. Be be a honor be I want, but be a send the our remuka so to me a form way maybe I know okay. Oh dear, me do bonnet chill. You can look at it that way. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, their man can by and large make sense, and unfortunately, it won't really. It's very difficult for most Muslims to really accept it, especially if you are the one who sees him like a perfect armor. But that's the reality. It's there. He's not so perfect after all.
Exactly. Okay. Into the end, into story. I don't know.
There's nothing sinful. Our Prophet did not, commit any sin of this nature. So he makes Hafsa promise not to tell Aisha. Hafsa, of course, she goes and tells Aisha. She spills the beans. Why would she tell Aisha? Can anybody explain the psychology? Why don't you raise your voice?
Pause. Pause. Yeah, pause. Once I had no Obeka Asema, like Obama, some sort of like justified reason as to whatever it is now. A lady in the Babekano. The reason why she would say it, the boy. Yeah, I would just like to put it there. Say whatever he's going to say now is just a matter of speculation. I don't think he's within reason to say whatever it is. I had a reason. Yeah, woman be kind of a fact. With the energy, I can't say from a psychological standpoint. Maybe I say this in Tina woman be kind of. So I'm just putting it out there. So whatever he's going to say, I know it's good. It's just going to be a matter of speculation and an opinion, and not really fact.
Okay.
You can just.
Okay. You will give it to us. Okay. Abu Emmanuel asked me to go off. Debbie, sorry, Abu man, can say go off. Man, can say I be a sorry, say who misunderstanding me there. What I said, they say okay, mute to save no, because time now, joining now me don't can you know no. Did be better automatically, and I said obi kasa want. Now me say mute to save. I wanted you to mute the sound on okay. Said the buyer na guy any with telephone, so I think it said the bank ABT after that nanka one on mute yourself. But I didn't say go off. Debbie. It's all misunderstanding me there, I'm sorry. And as a man communicating this, so I'm sorry, okay. And that was he said I'm a patch, say be a go off. Why? But I said say mute yourself, Mr. Rewa, okay. To be sorry.
She goes and tells Aisha. She spills the beans. Why would she tell Aisha? Can anybody explain the psychology? Why don't you raise your voice? No, not that. Why would she tell Aisha then? No. To make Aisha jealous of her, that I caused the Prophet to give up Maria. Clear? Right? And of course the two of them, they had their spats, and they were sometimes the best of friends and sometimes the worst of enemies, right? So Hafsa and Aisha had a very interesting relationship. Whereas other wives, they never got along. Zainab and Aisha never got along. Never. But Hafsa and Aisha, at times they were the best of friends, and at times they were at each other. And so this is like trying to show Aisha that I was the one who got Maria out of the picture. And the both of them were jealous of Maria. Right? Maria was a beautiful lady, and it was because of this, as was mentioned, it was because of this that the Prophet moved her to Awali, far away. Otherwise, the other wives were around the masjid. So moved her away to far away place that there's no direct interaction. So he makes Hafsa promise not to tell. Hafsa goes and tells and spills the beans. Then what happens? Allah reveals in the Quran. Allah reveals in the Quran. That's why we're talking about it right here. And Allah reveals, what is He revealed? Which surah? Surah Tahrim. Okay, Surah At-Tahrim. Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu, O Prophet, lima tuharrimu ma ahalla Allahu lak. Why are you making haram what Allah has made halal for you? Meaning what? Maria, tabtaghi mardata azwajik. You do it in order to please your wife. So you make haram what Allah had made halal simply to please your wife. Wallahu ghafur rahim. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is forgiving and merciful, right? قَدْ فَرَضَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ تَحِلَّةَ أَيْمَانِكُمْ. Allah has obligated on you to get rid of your oath. What was the oath? Never see again. So how do you get rid of the oath? You fast, or you give a raqaba. Basically, there is a method in the Quran. You feed the poor, you fast, you give So Allah is saying, I have obligated on you now to get rid of this oath. Don't make haram what Allah has made halal for you. قَدْ فَرَضَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ تَحِلَّةَ أَيْمَانِكُمْ وَاللَّهُ مَوْلَاكُمْ. And Allah is your protector. وَهُوَ الْعَلِيمُ الْخَبِيرُ. وَإِذْ أَسَرَّ النَّبِيُّ إِلَى بَعْضِ أَزْوَاجِهِ حَدِيثًا. And when the Prophet told one of his wives a secret. This is Hafsa, right? And he told her it's a secret. أسرّ. فلما نبأها به قالت من أنبأك هذا. So there's a missing clause that's understood. So she spilled the secret. She spilled the beans. So when the Prophet ﷺ told her, why did you spill the beans? Why did you tell somebody? Why did you tell Hafsa? Why did you tell Aisha, right? قالت من أنبأك هذا. Hafsa says, who told you? I told Aisha. How did you know? Now what is Hafsa thinking? Aisha is stabbing me in the back now. Aisha is now coming and telling the whole thing. So Hafsa getting jealous now. Man anba'aka hadha? Who told you that I told her? Right? Because it's only me and her, nobody else. And so قال نبأني العليم الخبير. Allah told me. Right? إن تتوبا إلى الله فقد صغت قلوبكما. So Allah says, the both of you, what you did in trying to basically make yourselves better and what that, the both of you, if you repent to Allah, even if you repent, your hearts have inclined towards what it doesn't say, but meaning to deprive him of the halal. فقد صغت قلوبكما. وإن تظاهرا عليه. And if the two of you dare cooperate against him, فإن الله هو مولاه. Allah is his protector. وجبريل وصالح المؤمنين. And the righteous believers. And that's Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman, the righteous believers, and Ali. والملائكة بعد ذلك ظهير. And after the righteous believers, even the angels. So this is a verse that is meant to bring some fear to the wives of the Prophet. Don't conspire against him. Don't go behind backs and now trying to, Allah knows what you are doing. And there is no denying that Allah Azza wa Jal is showing the status of our Prophet even to his wives. Even to his wives he is showing that he is not like a normal person. Of course he's a normal human being, but you get my point. He's not. The huquq are much more. The huquq of this husband are much more than the huquq of any husband. So that's why the warning comes down very clearly that even if you repent, you have already wanted to commit some crime. Right? Meaning Allah will forgive you, but you shouldn't have done that. And if you are going to continue down this path and conspire against him, then Allah Azza wa Jal will protect him. And the righteous people and Jibreel and the Malaika are behind after that as well. Now, so because of this, Allah revealed the command to break the oath. And so he broke the oath, he gave the kafara. And so Maria returned to him. Now, there is an alternative version. There's two opinions about Surah At-Tahrim. This opinion of Maria is really the strongest one and the correct one.
I think for it is more to the one narrative story, okay?
Yeah.
Once again, my mom who say, or no, I can say, sad narrative now, the might is here. There is another opinion about the story now, Quran chapter 66, verse number 1 in the Bible. There's another opinion, there's another narrative. But the one now on all kinds is here the 10, and it's the strongest one. And if a commentary in the Quran, commentary now, okay, there are different opinions. See, better than say story, no, a different story, so totally two different stories. You better than who say a correct now. Someone said me patch. And even in the commentary now, I'm going to say, almost say the Quran is the most preserved, the authentic, the book, no. You can't book no, you can't Quran now. Story no one okay. Look of a commentary, so a different story, two different stories. It's the correct one. It's the second alternative story.
There is an alternative that some of the Sahaba posited, and this is that it involves some honey that was given to him by Sauda, and Aisha and Hafsa conspired. The fact of the matter, yes, the story is mentioned, but the fact of the matter is that it doesn't fit and follow all of the verses, the secret and the two of you conspiring and whatnot. It doesn't fit as perfectly as the story of Maria. And also, it doesn't seem that big of a deal if the Prophet says, I'm never going to eat honey again. Versus the issue of Maria, it makes perfect sense. Why would the wives get so jealous about spending 20 minutes extra because he had honey? Because the other story goes that he had honey at the house of one of the wives, and so they got very jealous that he's having honey. And that doesn't fit as perfectly as the story of Maria. Now, by the way, some scholars say, these personal issues of the Prophet's house are private matters. They should be left alone. We shouldn't talk about them. But to respond to this, we say, if Allah had wanted to, he could have kept it private.
Okay, and that is the alternative story, no? A prophet Nikokodi a war, honey. Okokodi a war one of his wives in the okay. And other wives in jealous. Because almost a war obefia na smelly, so to say na. And person conspire against the Prophet Muhammad, and the Prophet Muhammad said, okay, a war be abuse. That is why now he says only war be abuse. So there's that almost story about but said on one account has a different story. Maria the and a strong one or more used to and I say a honor and then the 50. So what that's it. Yes, it's way small about Islam and I say kind. I think say be this. I said who say which church group name say be telephone vibrate be who say Kevin Sykes dinner also. I don't think I will ban for arm line so no. Men worry your person will be who be what I say and I make no. And you be a new the day no be a time into young fan say be next time so. Na me I don't maybe be time. I'm for being time my join. So what I say. And then waiting at Casaba and the cramp and your day no will be enjoy next time I can open so fire no. Now my father now we need time.
Yeah, Fred is saying, but I could say because a confirmed person be joining because more restroom.
And they say Bora and I cancel statement, but
yeah, well, very fair to what about body dig. Hey, I go for a very sentimental. Hey, also be show respect.
Yeah. Now okay, I think Kevin say about the corner no there. Okay.
Yeah.
To me then there say me judge say the mechanism to me because me bibi wo corner no there. Okay, I have the reason why because corner the criteria be to honum to judge the book no say free yakopon honum. To me no say criteria no me common sense me logic and check here no wa feel it's me because me book in there say the Muhammad wa last time no o man story bit say bia NGB Bible no na NGB so about Quran na tell me Bible mu na me Quran mu dey so no ma be bisa no enti example the reason why I mention Quran mu dey no e bit ma say no because Quran on test now what to one say me fan check book no I feel me dey my adwene check here no I feel enti me o ka be na me ndia I have the right to do so okay enti bia so next time bia that bia say kasafa Quran ho there were more topics for honum. So more topics I bet
but I would rather prefer said yeah gentleman back on who called in from Nigeria and is here though. If we would have more of that, like because even because he left quite early and we're still forced to spend the rest of our time on
I don't want to accuse him of anything, but I can understand. I mean the reason why I'm so very because he knows he's an apologetics. He's a student. He said he's a student. He's a young guy. Okay, he's like in his 20s. He's a young guy, and but he does videos. He tries to explain and answer to counter with Christians. He debate and counter with Christians. And I have a lot of videos with him already. But there are some things now. Say that is what the Muslim they will never. As your people now, they are well versed in the Quran and then the Islamic books. No scholars they will run away from that person. What they want is they want to debate a cat so that they will come like a lion. They will see like say they if you say maybe question because many Bemushika could debate here. So what they say about the Bible. He will have more knowledge because he will use words because many matches are they always to be about Islam. No, they will stay away from him. They will try to maybe tarnish his image and I said that people will not listen to the person. But the reasonable people now, and I said the ones now they want to think for themselves, they will try to listen and then they will say, okay, this is answer anyway. Apart from insulting him, answer anyway. Question who answer was baby son, I was a man for question. Okay. And the guy who best now the good screen is on. Sabes on him say another verse be 100 meter. Maybe a way as I may accuse no ABI and this are but me next time we be about the same verse beba. The verse ni busu na can obi an carry obi burden no. Nobody carries the burden of another person, okay? When him say another verse of Quran e kasa, he knows. The ABI onya explanation in my internity like disconnecting and one team and free because the whole time
back on
Abdul Rahman a disconnected of everything afraid
but to be fair I don't certainly know my babe make some friend be I am in the time kasa phone so also Nigeria it's quite difficult. There are more times I am complaining and say he's very inaccessible. Like very difficult to get hold of him. Phone so and Tiana Debiano his excuse near about network. A blue car seeing suit or more light of and 17.
Yes, it's very so. I can say so today at the moment. I say so.
It's in TABR, there's a genuine reason in TIBR he's not able to stay on with us, but maybe I'd really prefer say Anka say I have a dialogue be saying I need your business for more camp na so na ama dialogue na more honest na can be any crana. It's easy, even though himself for me, it appears like there's a problem with it. But still, no, it's like it goes unchallenged. Or it's easy for us to just say what we want to say. But so being so or some resistance be a good from there. You can really, ascertain something, something real rather than say because anybody, But anyway, but yeah, it's all good. I mean, media. I always say it's easy to really debate them down there. I mean, they say they debate it's but I mean, cool.
Now, okay, do the info see what I say in a conversation. Info see what I say, okay, man.
But it will be a cool, no problem.
Cool. Moment you have Facebook, I must have Facebook. Another video you are saying moment or come.
And I'm telling you, because God yes, Quran is in Yakupo, it will throne. I mean, will throne there, and just in Yakupo, it will a tour. Our debate was no. Quran, like I said, Yakupo, it will throne. But then the throne of God is unknown to you and I. It is saying, Yami Wansa, Yamin is saying, Yakupo, say, well, let me yakula kufuan ahad. In another verse, Quran chapter 42, Allah will say, Laysa kamislihi shay'in. There's nothing that you can picture in your mind. There's nothing that you have seen that looks like God. Yakasi Yakupo Wansa, and just in such a same menu answer. I have mouth. River, our mouth. But the mouth of a river is not like my mouth. Eti, Yakasi Yami will answer, Yami will say, man, tears men, money, you say, it is a word yet. It is a Yakupo, and I won't be saying Yami Etan and Punyasua. Send a million yet, not Punyasa, two and a Tranasano, who names Yakupo Etan and Punyaso. How would you know? Send Yami or a Punyam Punas or Betanasa, who are the ones or better than in Chemu and us or beginners who obey the woman. It is Yakupo Punya. Many merely Yabi and say, a Punyani yet Nasia, the attorney at Nasunti, who you are assuming saying Yakupo and the two a better Punyaso, where it does not make sense. Well, because Yakupon see only be answer into whatever mental picture that you have about God, a false picture. That is not God. And you have to understand this. Excellent.
Okay. And the example now, say the can't see how I say no. How do you know how the oneness of God is? Who will be explaining? With the same logic now, we'll apply what I say and say God doesn't have a hand, sir. To me imagine the kind of hands na ikura God no. So on the logic no.
Yeah.
To me imagine because it is absolutely totally different from whatever the Adrian say your hands no. So God has a throne now. To me gizeli who you throne no. To me for the same end compared to God. Now God has a one as well. How do you know say the oneness of God is the same to say there now? Say God is 3 in 1. But no one to do because one. Is it possible for him to be 3 in 1? Because in the oneness no. Like oneness, no, because how we say we are one, no, it has to be totally different from how God is. Logically, no, am I wrong to think like this?
No, this is the was I going to say right now? You are pointing to double standards. Say I said they are all no, it's a bit hypocritical in the sense say okay, Christiania. He'll be criticizing you, say, now someone who boy me and I say, I say, Eden to be say, Eden to be say, Eden and Yankupon. That's the kind of argument I mean, you see, an income for tie. But also, some you as a criminal, also, this is what you are saying with the same kind of like argument, say, wouldn't you own him notice or say, and also, yes, I understand what you're trying to say. You want to point out the double standard now, which is present in his argument, But I don't hear just, but that kind of a between. Who as a Christian, any or no as a Muslim. For me, my point, I have, how should I put it? From me standpoint, I'm a neutral. I mean, me belonging to either camp, whether Christian or Muslim. I am much more justified in making that kind of argument. What you say what means one and what means two, in a sense, no. But no, he's not justified because of he uses the same argument against you. And yet, when it comes to his owner, he wants to make an exception. the double standards will be present when it is between you as a Christian and him as a Muslim. But I mean, I don't belong to either camp. So me, I have that sort of like, it's like I'm warranted to come from that angle. That's what I can say.
No, okay. So it's here the kinds say now, okay, there is nothing compared to Allah. So won't be beyond to Allah, won't be beyond compare Allah, okay. But Allah himself is comparing himself to created things in the Quran. Quran chapter 24, verse number 35. Okay. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. The example of his light is like the niche within which is a lamp. In the Allah examples, I say the light, the example of the Allah's light. No, they compare a niche within its lamp. The lamp is within a glass. The glass, what they say now, it is animal we say now they compare not say. The glass is as if were pearl stars lit from a blessed olive tree, neither of the east nor of the west, whose oil it where as all the Allah now you cannot compare him to anything. There is nothing comparable to Allah. And so Quran verse, Quran chapter 112. But the same verse, Quran said there is nothing compared to Allah. No, Allah is using created things, no, to demonstrate how it's very because there is nothing compared to him. To say in an because a useless examples no they mind because still now we cannot have the idea now you know. And now so I'm gonna shake in the kind was it everything being now we say Allah tibiano a useless and yes because a wide you know.
Send a minimum yet, not me say a two and a transcendent. Who names a Yakopo at Tanakumia? So how would you know? Send a meal a Kunyan put us over Tanasa. We are the ones or better than in Chemo and answer beginners who obey the woman and it's in Yakopo Kunya. Many merely yard say a Kunyani yet Tanasa, the attorney at Tanasunti, who you are assuming saying Yakopo and the two a better Kunya. So where it does not make sense. Well, because Yakopo see only be answer into whatever mental picture that you have about God, a false picture. That is not God, and you have to understand this. Excellent.
So it's Nyankopon be answer, but Nyankopon is giving us these examples in the Quran. So about how his light is. Yeah, but I don't know. I questions.
Maybe I just say straight away. Niche within which is a lamp. The lamp is within glass. Scroll it back down, Mirali. No, I mean, yeah. That way. It's light from the base. Presents examples for the people. Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, my other patch but already there, and yeah, as definitive or as a clear, like I say, clear, but it's a logical inconsistency to say other things now. Identify. No, there are some other things with the end between and they clear, like it's about our readiness and but something like this, yeah, someone can argue even this kind of things, you know, sometimes you can understand, say, as like just like even in literature, because book is considered a literary material, just like the Bible is a seminar. Say they all are there to certain like literary like rules and some kind of forms. Sometimes you like to liken certain things to certain things, you know, just to give some kind of poetic and dramatic effect. So I said these things. So if you have an understanding of that now. We say nice and you want too much, sir. Last time I say God referring to himself in the third person. He said so. Be ancient and understand the literature too much, sir. But if you understand, say scholars in the true book, and they and me and conform try there all the time. Like these things, it's understandable. So it happen without necessarily really being so controversial. But for this one, the merits of the judgment, like. For me, then, and who knows what you say.
Yeah, but okay. May I understand the whole party, but how are you? The party says if Allah is saying there is nothing compared to Him, said there no one to me compare with now Allah can say light, and to say be a star. Now, if I say example, It's a star.
Yeah.
Okay. However the star is, no, it's still not allowed because he's not compared to the star. Until the star, no. However, we can view the star, no, it is like it means nothing because it cannot be compared to Allah.
Yeah, me too. But I won't say it. Yeah, me too. But I won't say if you are trying to look at it from a strict contradictory sense, and know someone can really argue this, or better argue, even say, oh yes, we can't. Ideally, yes, I don't know, but still, I know he is still trying to do you the favor of giving you an idea of say ABS or say I like this or that. Oh, I like a argument and it makes sense. So so this is something that is like say what to say where they are clear they are. I don't think this is one of them. What you say? Maybe there's other ones. But we know the like and yet airtight. What you say?
No, okay.
We like we bet me argue that kind of thing. What you say?
Alles klar, okay. And I think the Kevin submission and I say we say I end what I say, okay.
Oh, yeah, cool. I just hope say a gentleman is a friend. Like because I think that this is not his first time. I can go forget me anymore. I can be fine. Now we have them Muslims also on more. Now at least now my conversation I am more a Muslim be more and to be more inclusive. Now it means you are there more. Now and yet one-sided.
Now okay. Abu Emmanuel, who honor?
Maybe I know say maybe I'm one. I think that I did it also.
Me sorry, so one to the mechanic. Now me say mute yourself. Or Mr. Wa mute yourself for mommy. So I'm a kind of there, okay, but say me I want to the Of course, he here for to join. I don't will be joining. I'm a so won't get it off.
Hello.
Yes. What's it mean?
Let's work in your crowd.
Oh, but me too won't clear. What say you?
Hello.
Yeah, Abu Emmanuel, me too won't. Okay, I think the network problems as I will more. The other conversation is what I say no. Me do be ask what online to be am say what like video no my YouTube on them, okay, like video no follow page no YouTube on them. Say them kind no at the moment they me will fear me stay home daddy and I say visa, okay. When I make cater for me ba. Most of the time I say them can be one of my me by life. Because no activities are in the year, no abre. Pia mo je ko swimming, you ko park, you ko baby. To if you know about die, no miss no energy kakra na me by life be videos no. Me sorry man, no more line so no. Me cut video no prompt to me. I say obra o shall say also me also me corner maybe end the video later on. Me sorry, say na you too quick for you guys now. But say opportunity this I be on ever be on. Me no fie. Na me hu say wada na ebia metima by life okay so me kwa na office na me can wife kwa adwuma 24 hours at the moment they kwa adwuma 24 hours okay ebia later on obetima day day shift on night into any very different topic it's and me by life there or fie metima by life but at the moment they say me kwa na me no office na ma see ma hwe bibia manaba first you know your priority no me ba and there was a reasonable person there better say priority no me ba no so what they say na and say me because me ba life na say me say be this stable na and me my life no but say me so what dana me say be obetima da because my study na kakra me opportunity be ba life okay the ba life there open dialogue so now we be kan wa adwene wa say no we be share wa adwene wa say men ni say to ni say bia oba ha say I was on say to agree bibia ni say na ye wa ha say ni say oba ha say na obe say we are Christian na oba na say bia me can be na you wrong na betimi aboa me understand the crampo na you are welcome so say be say na ye pe wa say because me be Christian no enche bia sa be guso aye be Bible ni mo ho so your topic be emfa Bible ho emfa Quran ho emfa religion ho a different topic wa eno so be ye be say wa ha say srema okay nti what topic be we can say a general topic ayi nyina betima discuss we betima share no opinion na adwene e nyina tim dey adusua no I am for religion ho and so betima yen asua e bi obi at the end of the day no e be a Canadian or has okay. Intimate conversation we be see what I say, the topic we be see what I say. Me do be ask, why would you need biano? But I say, Mr. Wa mon share, na mon like videos no YouTube on my okay, Seto SSK on YouTube, mon like videos, na mon subscribe to the page one more. Me do me na amass okay. Into the conversation we be see what I say.
Okay, me okay. Okay, bye.
Mr. Bye.
You are judging Islam based on our books, and so not based on what you think or what you assume or what your dictionary is saying.
Okay.
You are not judging Islam based on Oxford Dictionary.
There is one quotation in the book of Isaiah again, Isaiah chapter 2 verse 2. Isaiah 2:2. It reads, listen to what it says in Isaiah 2:2. It says, towards the end of the world, there will be a temple built for the worshipping of one God in the Arabian desert on top of the mountains. And this temple will be greater than all the temples all over the world. And people all over the world, they will flow into this temple to worship the one God. As I'm reading, you know this is definitely Kaaba. People will flow. You look at Hajj, when it's time for Hajj, people flow. They flow into Kaaba as if you pour water. People moving with white clothing, they flow. And that is what Isaiah have said. Then he's continued by saying, strangers shall come and they will build your nation. Therefore, the gate of your temple or the gate of the place of worship shall never be closed day and night. For men will come from all over the world to worship the one God. The gate shall not be closed. Since the time of Muhammad, the gate of Kaaba never closed. After Hajj, there's Umrah, and there are people coming from all over the world. That is exactly that. Your gate shall never be closed. It will be open for the Gentiles all over the world to come and worship the Lord. Nations also will come. Kings and queens will come and minister unto thee. So clearly, as we read this verse, it gives you an understanding that the book of Isaiah is enshrined with the prophecy of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.